The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect.
Sky's the limit, baby.
BoxingVoice.com.
We don't fight for rings and stuff like that. I don't fear anyone.
En este deporte no se viene a jugar y no le tengo miedo a nadie.
We don't come to play in this sport. I fear no one in this sport.
Does that mean that you will fight Triple G later this year?
Como lo dije en la pelea pasada, ahorita mismo me vuelvo a poner los guantes.
As I said in the last fight, right now I'll put on the gloves again.
¡Viva México!
Canelo wants to unify all the titles.
When did you realize, Andy, that you could take his power?
Because of the Mexican warrior that I am, I got that Mexican blood in me. So, talking about the Mexican style, I just proved it.
BoxingVoice.com.
Ain't no other sight in the game to see the boxing boys.
Hey, Daddy, this a dollar beat.
BoxingVoice.com.
No matter what nobody say, man, Spirit, can't nobody fuck with me, man. You know, I can't be fucked with, you know.
Dollar D Beyonce Productions.
Whether you pay to see me win, or you pay to see me lose, you're gonna pay. Fuck it, the kids still gotta eat. I don't have to watch, you know, any footage of a fighter. I mean, because I'm Floyd Mayweather, everybody gotta watch me. I knew eventually I was gonna have to fight Oscar over. I feel like he was straight up and down, no special effects.
BoxingVoice.com.
How can Canelo have the biggest deal? Your deal is for $300 million, and I made $350 million just in one fight. And you're fighting on the app.
BoxingVoice.com.
I'm a king, okay? I eat a feast. Every time I eat a feast. And when I get up from the table, I don't give a fuck who get the leftovers. At the end of the day, follow my green print.
Dollar D Beyonce Productions.
BoxingVoice.com.
Ain't no other sight in the game to see the boxing boys.
What up? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another flagship edition. It is Sunday, Crow Day, and we definitely have some fights to discuss in terms of reviewing, or at least, you know, crow eating. I don't really know. All the A-sides won, but there is a lot of news and notes to get to, starting off with Tyson Fury going as far as saying he'll vacate that WBC title before he's forced into any meaningless mandatory. Then we got Errol Spence really shaking up the old UK and American audience by saying that Americans should be supporting their own in Deontay Wilder instead of rooting for Tyson Fury, who happens to be from the other side of the pond. Then we got Jamal James and Thomas Dulorme scheduled back on the docket, and I believe this is PBC's first fight back. Buy or sell. Then we'll go to Showtime's. What is he to Showtime? Definitely one of the big names on the come up, Jaron Boots Ennis. We're going to actually dive a little deeper into Jaron and see. I mean, I was just off the notes alone, I'm like, man, he should be fighting a Jamal James or a Thomas Dulorme. That's the type of fight I need to know that he's the goods. I know a lot of people around here believe that he is, but I would like to see something like that instead of Ayabov or whatever his name is. But we got a bunch of other news and notes to get to. Those are the four main topics. If you're interested in voicing your opinion on these very same topics, you know the number to call in is 1-425-569-5241. Press 1 one time. Voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the People hotline. Don't forget to add Nestor Gibbs on Skype to be part of the conversation. Let me head on out to my co-host, Helen from around the globe.
It's me, Mario.
What is up, fellas? Missed y'all, man. I swear I feel like we got to get a Saturday show, like an afternoon in there, because it's like weird. After Friday, we go cold turkey, not talking boxing. But we did have boxing bars this Saturday. If you didn't get a chance to check it out, it is on YouTube. You can get a chance and go check it out. But looking forward to chopping up what Fury said about Dillian Whyte. Definitely Earl in the news for a very specific reason, as Ness mentioned, and we could chop that up. Just a lot of stuff that happened.
On this side of the pond, we're serious. Do you know what I mean? UK Great Britain boxing is on the map.
My God, I feel terrible. I feel terrible that I'm living your event free.
Yo, what's up, TBV? I'm that voice from across the pond. And like AJ said, we're serious, man. We're serious. So yeah, I've been out for the last few shows. I've missed being with you guys. I did a little bit of catching up, so listening to the podcast. But I'm interested in getting into it, like talking about Tyson Fury today. And Errol Spence is telling you the truth, man. So yeah, man, let's get into it.
I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynch is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from their club. There's no one that can match.
Cheers! Welcome to the Sunday flagship show. Yeah, Mary, you're right, man. It does seem like that, man, but gives us a little time to catch up at the house. But yeah, a little afternoon show wouldn't be too bad. And I'm excited. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about Jaron Boots Ennis, and big fan of his. I think he's the future. I think he's young and advanced in pretty ahead of its time. And Fury said he'd rather drop the belt. That's what we're gonna take off on. So I'll just start kicking it off with you guys. What do you think about that? I mean, he pretty much doesn't want any quote unquote low end fights.
I mean, I understand Fury. It's kind of the same situation that Canelo was in. Do I fight Kovalev and make history, or do I fight, Jamal Charlo and face my mandatory? What is the history books going to remember? Jamal Charlo, or are they going to remember moving up to 175 and dethroning the light heavyweight champ that, only lost to Ward and Elderly Alvarez? So I think Fury finds himself in a similar position where it's like, do I fight Whyte or do I fight AJ? Do I fight Whyte or do I fight Ruiz, in an American pay-per-view? Because he's fighting on that side of the country, right? Like, he's on this side of the pond, and his fights can be pay-per-view. So it's like, am I going to bring Dillian Whyte all the way over here and no one's going to know him? So I get what he's saying. I'm not saying that I agree. I just understand.
Yeah.
Man. To say from like a promotional standpoint, like, it sounds a lot like what Bob Arum was saying the other day. I think when Arum was saying like, no one wants to fight or wants to see a fight against mandatory. You want to see like undisputed. And that kind of makes sense, and that's kind of like attractive to hear something like that. But the reality is like, they kind of like speaking out of both sides of their mouth, right? Saying one thing in one sentence and kind of contradicting it in the other sentence. And if you read what like the quote is like from Fury in the Boxing Scene article, is actually saying that Dillian Whyte is looking for a payday, and it's not a good fight, and I'm not looking to give him a payday, and I'm like after greatness. But then if you just follow up and read the article
that stuck out to me is, he said Dillian Whyte is a one-hit wonder, and he's been knocked out by AJ already. See, if you start selling the idea that Dillian Whyte, I believe Dillian Whyte has come back. I believe Dillian Whyte is a better fighter. But if you start selling the narrative now that he's been a part of this equation, he's out, he's had his shot, then, the demand is just going to dry up. It's going to swell up. So then when people are, talking about Joshua Fury, Dillian Whyte is going to be an afterthought. So, from that perspective, this is a really smart thing for Fury to do. He needs to be pushing the narrative, because we all know that Dillian Whyte is going to make his voice heard the moment that, any fight after Fury Wilder 3 happens, he's going to start the campaign.
Well, let's give him a little bit of substance, because Coach Mitty did mention the quote. Let's see what Tyson Fury had to say. It goes, according to Boxing Scene, on me, Timmy. I'm after the biggest fights available. Did we freeze up on no, we didn't. Okay. I'm after the biggest fights available. I'm a proud WBC champion, but at the end of the day, I'm the lineal heavyweight champion of the world, which trumps everything. Belts are just pieces of leather with pieces of metal on them, and they don't mean anything to me. Dillian Whyte is a one-hit wonder, and he's been knocked out by AJ already. The answer to Dillian Whyte is wait in the queue, and your time will come when it comes. I'm not really interested in you. If he thinks he's going to call me a few names on social media and I'm going to turn down a $100 million payday, then he's got a long wait. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a payday, bro. Anyone that's undefeated with that sort of status that Tyson has, you got to take a shot at one of those big fights, you know what I mean? And Dillian has already done that. He's already got his opportunity to dance with AJ, I get Fury. I get him. I just don't think that the money will be the same without those belts. Networks, they need the belts.
Yeah, I mean, like,
that's the question I have for y'all, is it a realistic thing for Fury to drop the belt? Could he really do that? Like, I mean, obviously he could, but do y'all think he'd really do that?
Well, not the way he's talking, right? So if he's talking and saying that, the belt or, the lineage means something to me, right? And then the money won't be as great without the belt. You can't be dropping the belts and just saying that, you're going to fight for glory. That's all, right? So you need to fight for glory, but you need to have the belt on the line. That's what we all want to see, right? So.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that, regardless of what, we might want, as hardcores, wanting Dillian Whyte, I'm one of those guys that's been waving the flag for Dillian Whyte to get his shot. There's just some fights that just make more sense and more money, and I can't argue that boxing is a business. So it's hard for me to sit here and say that he's wrong. I mean, he can drop one belt and gain 3 more. I mean, it's not like he.
I mean, in his audio, he made it clear that the belt doesn't matter because he's still talking to Lineal. He's like, I'm the Lineal, so he don't care about the belt. But you also got to remember that the deal is already agreed to in principle. And, they didn't make a mention of the belt. They already agreed to 50-50, then 60-40. So until we hear something that, the belt is on the line, or if the belt's not there, that percentage split is going to change. I think that they already got their deal. They already worked out and agreed to their terms. I'm not sure those belts matter. And if you're AJ and Eddie, do you really care if Tyson doesn't bring his belt? Let him bring the Lineal and blame it on the sanctioning bodies and get your all-out British affair.
Yeah, that's the most important part of it.
You've got to remember that, obviously Eddie's biggest client is AJ, but Eddie's client is also Dillian Whyte, right? And
True.
in many, many instances over the last few weeks, Eddie's mentioned that he's going to do the right things by Dillian. And the right thing is to give him his title shots before February. Now, obviously, we know that there's going to be a lot of negotiation and a lot of room for flexibility, right? Someone can get a little bit of money and wait a bit longer. But a man's been he's been waiting a long time. And the one thing that came out over the last few days or so in the UK, coming out of the Eddie Hearn camp, is that we could be actually talking about Fury versus Dillian Whyte before we even talk about Fury versus Wilder. So hypothetically, in December or before February, what I've heard from the Matchroom camp is that it seems like they don't believe that there will be a Wilder Fury 3. For whatever reason, they're talking about financials or something that doesn't make sense for the promotion side on the Fury side of things. But it seems like they're working for a plan to put Dillian Whyte in the ring at some point before the end of this year or early next year against Fury. And
the only way that
could be interesting.
The only way that happens if Wilder accepts step aside money. There's nothing.
Yeah, and
Eddie already tried, or was it Frank? Someone already tried to say, well, we've lost 3 months. I think it was Bob said, look, we lost 3 months because of COVID, so we got to push these mandatories back. From what I've seen, WBC said no to that. So if they said no to pushing the mandatories back, I just find it hard that they're not going to enforce the rematch, right? Like, that's a WBC rematch. So
no, they definitely are.
Wilder is their champion, and he was their champion for 5 or 6 years. They're gonna make sure he gets his shot.
Look, ultimately, but see, like, if you think about the narrative that's spent by, I heard a lot of stuff this week said from, Eddie Hearn and from Frank and Barry and like everybody that's talked about this. The narrative is that things have changed, and basically Wilder Fury 3 existed in the pre C19 world, and now that we're in the post C19 world, can that fight still make sense economically? And that's the narrative that it's being spent. It's not that they think Wilder should take step aside or that this fight isn't worth it or that fight's bigger. It has nothing to do with that. It's about the fact that these two guys have money coming to them that may not be there to come to them. So does the fight take place?
That's exactly what it is, Mario. And I think they concluded that, they're not saying that Wilder is the one that is losing out so much money in that equation. They're talking about Fury. Not only is losing out on what it was supposed to make pre-COVID, but is also in there with what we know is a dangerous opponent with that one-punch knockouts, in Deontay Wilder. So you could also lose any potential fight in the future as well. But, I see that Deontay Wilder would have to play a major role in that equation for the fight to happen between Fury and Whyte. And that equation is money. Like, they would have to come to Deontay and say, hey, you got to wait and we're going to give you money. Now, I'm not in a position to talk about the financials or anything, but it's interesting that they're bringing up that angle. Is it pure speculation and negotiation and stuff like that? But
it's not they.
I would like to see that happen.
It's not they. It's Eddie. Eddie is saying this. Until you hear this from Shelly Finkel or, at least a representative of Heyman Boxing, like what's my man name that we've had on here a few times? Tim Smith or a Sylvia. Somebody, no way. Wilder's gonna go heal up. This is all Eddie's narrative. Wilder's bicep is hurt, so they should let Fury Whyte happen. Yeah. So in this world, Wilder's gonna go heal up a bicep. That's it. It's got to be a boatload of cash that he's already come out and said he's not accepting. Now I can see a world where this happens, right? Can Shelly and whatever new trainer say, hey, this is a gift in disguise. Let him face the mandatory. He's a pesky fly we don't want to deal with anyway. Heal the bicep, take the money. But until we start talking about money, and remember, Remember, even during the pandemic, people that are, in the business longer than us said it's got to be at least 10 million. Remember, Lennox Lewis accepted back then 4 million. So I just don't see it.
But the one thing you have to remember, Ness, is that in those contracts, there's usually something that talks about if a fighter can't fulfill a certain obligation in one way or the other. So a lot of times they talk about injury. You can't legally prevent Fury from fighting another person if the opponent, let's say Wilder, has an injury and can't meet that obligation, because then you're preventing Fury to make money. Now, in this sense, if COVID is a thing, if C-19 is a thing, then it's like if that fight can't take place because of, flight restrictions and stuff like that, then I think there's still a way that they can move on from that. So I'm not saying that the times come even close to that, or that I know a time frame in which they could enforce something like that. But those contracts do have very specific languages about, drawing on a fight and making it have to take place by a certain point.
Hey, listen, regardless of the situation, right? If I'm Dillian Whyte, I am happy with what I'm hearing from Eddie. Whether it happens or not, I am happy because I know that I have a promoter that is pushing the narrative for me no matter what, right? And out of the situation, no matter what, whether it's a title shot, whether it's money, whether it's public opinion, knowing that I was supposed to be the one that had like a mandatory title shot, they're swaying the opinion no matter what, and they're positioning him well, I think. And if I was his client, I would be happy personally,
So since you believe this, I have to ask you another question. Do you believe that Eddie is going to go above and beyond to ensure Dillian Whyte gets a shot if Dillian beats Fury, there's 2 fights. Oh, well, there's no fight because he's a mandatory. But if Dillian beats Fury, the Daniel Keenaham, he's out.
Forget that. Like, so
hold on. You can't say forget that. It's rumored $70 million per fighter. You can't say forget that.
So let me tell you the perspective what I'm coming at, right? I'm saying, like, from AD's perspective, you go from having a fight with one fighter is yours and the other one is for another. Build like Dillian even bigger. Dillian now would have taken Fury's position. I now have the guy who's beat the man who beat the man. I have now the new lineal champion, and I have AJ. Why can I not build that fight to the same magnitude as AJ versus Fury? You just do the rematch with Bad Blood. AJ beat him the first time around. This is now actually a trilogy that is happening because Dillian beat him in the amateurs. Hey, this is nice. If I'm Eddie, I'm happy with that situation because I now hold all the cards. I've got all the belts in my camp. I've got 2 UK fighters. I don't have to listen to anyone say I've got to go to America or whatever. I just do the fight wherever the hell I want within 2 of my fighters with all the belts on the line. Why wouldn't I be happy?
I just
Michael
don't
Buffer, real quick, from Michael Buffer, we got a super chat. He says, AJ has contract with Matchroom. Whyte is on a fight-by-fight with Eddie, I'm sure he meant. Doesn't Dillian Whyte nothing Eddie? Only concern should be AJ give. Can somebody help me with that? I think I read that wrong.
AJ has a contract with Matchroom. Whyte is on a fight-by-fight. Eddie doesn't owe Dillian Whyte nothing.
Got you.
Eddie only concerned should be AJ US Undisputed.
AJ, give us Undisputed. Got it. Yeah. No, I absolutely agree.
So I just want to say, because I don't think Mitty answered that honestly, so I asked the other 2 of you guys, right? You're a promoter named Eddie Hearn. You got Whyte and AJ.
I know what the question was. You're absolutely. I don't think that you can trust Eddie. I don't think you can trust Eddie. I think that if you're Whyte, Eddie, you got to look at Eddie and you got to keep your you got to keep your suspicions up. He's going to do what's better for AJ. He's going to do what's better for the overall business of boxing, which is his business. You know what I'm saying? So I think whatever makes dollars is going to make sense. And if you're Dillian, if you're Whyte, you can't sit there and just take what's handed thinking that everybody's got their best interest, because there's definitely a situation here where, Eddie's best interests don't necessarily fit the Whyte narrative.
I just don't see what could Eddie do. There's nothing you can do. Like, until the mandatory is called for purse bid, and even still it could be stalled out because, all right, they tell you to negotiate. You don't go to negotiations. You go to purse bid.
Well, he can get him another fight. He can get him a high paid, really big type of fight. He could do a lot of other things that don't necessarily involve Whyte getting the title shot next. You know what I'm saying?
I'm in total agreement with that. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't see Eddie being happy like Mitty is putting, like, oh, he would be okay because he's got 2 dogs in the race now. I don't think so. I think he's gonna be like, freak, man, we're gonna lose this big payday with AJ because you talking about 70 per fighter. They ain't even let us know what the site fee is gonna be. Like, they not. You can't compensate with Whyte. You can't make that up. It doesn't matter what bad blood you got. Don't matter if it's a 2 rematch or a trilogy. You're not going to make that up. Like, that money from another country, they're giving you in excess because they want the event.
So didn't AJ do that with Andy Ruiz in Saudi Arabia?
AJ, yes, AJ. But we're talking about 2 players.
That's true.
No, but that would be AJ still. AJ versus Dillian Whyte, right?
But that's what I'm saying, Mitty. Isn't it different? And that's why everybody said, you just said it. Didn't AJ do that? See, in this situation, it's 2 men getting 70 million. Not AJ situation, rumored 60.
But that's fine. Which
wasn't that.
Eddie doesn't have to worry about what Fury is getting. Who gives he doesn't give a damn what Fury is getting. He gives a damn what his fighter and what he is going to get from the event, right? So
exactly.
What are you talking about?
So what I'm talking about is that he's not. No, it's not a good point because he's not going to get the same amount or nearly as much for Dillian Whyte. If he takes AJ to Saudi Arabia for Dillian Whyte, they just seen him over there versus Maurice Vacate. They're not going to pay. They're not going to pay what they would pay for Fury. That's my point. They're not going to pay what they would pay AJ Fury. AJ Whyte. You guys are crazy.
That's fine, but that's half of the money that doesn't go to AJ anyway. In that scenario, he's going to get the half that AJ is bringing him, and he's going to scoop whatever he can scoop out of Dillian Whyte. That's part of the money that he wasn't seeing anyway. So it's bonus to him, period. He has 2 dogs in the fight.
Listen, Saudi Arabia bought the Ruiz fight because of the upset. They ain't buying Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte went to the Andy Ruiz fight just as fat as Andy Ruiz. You're selling pipe dreams. Show me an article that they say Saudi Arabia is interested in Dillian Whyte. Get out of here. Nobody is out talking about Dillian Whyte and
they're not interested in Dillian Whyte. They're interested in anything that is Anthony Joshua. Anything.
Yeah. So
Anthony Joshua against Nestor.
So why no offers?
80 million in
so
Saudi
why
Arabia?
No offers for Kurbet Pulev? Not one. Not one. Kurbet Pulev trying to take that fight to Croatia because it's doing so bad over here. Get out of here, bro. I mean, not Croatia. Wherever he's from, bro.
Wasn't it
Bulgaria?
I thought they was trying to take that to Croatia.
0 offers, Mario. 0 from Saudi Arabia for Kurbet Pulev. So don't tell me they'll buy anything. Go for it.
Yo, we got a super chat from Alexander Wilson. Besides Fury, Wilder, AJ, the only big fight for Whyte would be the winner of Dubois Joyce. He is stuck between a rock and a hard place. Yo, he is absolutely right. And I would love that fight, to be honest with you. I mean, like, AJ right away as fast as I could get it.
So wait there. Did you say that, like, you'd rather see, like, a fight with Dubois or Joe Joyce over a fight with Dillian Whyte? Is that what you just said?
I would like to see the winner of Dubois and Joyce fight Whyte. That would be a good fight as a fan.
Okay,
as a fan. Okay. Yeah.
I think that's unfair.
I would like to see that fight.
I think that's unfair for fight fans.
It is unfair.
To ask, Whyte, who's been at the top and at the gate, he's at the gate to turn around and fight a 14-0 kid, man.
I think that it's a great fight, and I would love to see it, but that's just take that fight.
It would also be unfair to ask him to just like sit there until 2022 and do nothing, not get a shot, right? So that's the same conversation.
Not necessarily, because for Whyte, you're in a beautiful position. Let the cards play out. What if you end up fighting AJ again? Now you're even more confident because you've been in there. But you are the only man guaranteed a shot at everything when the dust settles.
That's what I'm saying. That's why, even if that's the scenario, right? Even if that's what happens, you still want to make noise now, and you still want your promoter to make noise now, understanding that, it could be what happens eventually in the future, but you still want to be in the press. You want to be in front of everyone, making all the noise you can make to ensure that, you don't get screwed over, and to scoop some money if you can, to step aside. There you go. Here's X amount of dollars, and you can wait, or whatever that is, right? So I find it like, it's not great, and it's a bit unfair, but at the same time, it's up to him to accept that. So if it makes sense financially for him, then good, fair play for him,
Yeah, they got to be giving him some good money to step aside and some good paydays on any in-between fights, because it all really boils down to what it matters to Whyte. We talk about that everybody works for the fighter, and you gotta go by what the fighter wants. So what does Whyte want? Does he really want that shot now? Is he tired of waiting, or can some money sway his mind?
You know what would be great?
To have him on
in a dream world, right? Have Whyte, Fury AJ, and Whyte Wilder on the undercard. No rematches. All the belts on the line on the main event, but there's no rematch. The winner of the co-main gets a shot.
That's an expensive event now. Now you talked about money earlier. Now you've got like 4 guys who all want big money, right? So Fury will want big money, AJ will want big money. Wilder deserves big money because he's going to say, you know what, I was going to get that money against Fury anyway. And Whyte is going to get less, but he's still going to make noise to get like a fair share of that money, right? So what kind of events that it's going to be hard to make that happen financially. But that would be beautiful.
No, it would definitely be hard. It would definitely be hard, but like I said, it would be a fantasy event, but like, yeah. I mean, I guess it could happen if you got, this guy Daniel out here negotiating big time deals. If you were able to, I think I could get it done. Like if I was able to get the okay from AJ, Fury, Wilder, and Whyte, then it's a matter of just finding the money. I think the bigger issue is getting Wilder and Whyte to agree. Both have to say no to their shot and then fight each other on the undercard. They may not say yes. Those are the guys that are going to be upset with that scenario.
How further down the line does Wilder get his title shot, though? Is it the next fight?
Again, in my fantasy, I said no rematches for the main event, no rematches for the co-main, so the winners go see each other. Losers could see each other.
Later, right?
No, next. What you mean? What you mean later? That's the whole point of stepping aside and fighting Whyte.
You step aside,
I'm going to think about what I'm doing. Listen. I'm Wilder. Think about what I'm doing. I'm stepping aside to let you undispute, plus I'm going to handle your mandatory. And for Whyte, same thing. I'm stepping aside to let you undispute, and I'm going to fight the dude that you owe a rematch to. So, that's like Muhammad said, that's a wet dream and nothing more. He ain't lying.
If there was something to get a nice payday between them two,
you know what's disturbing me in that whole thing, like, and ever since we're talking about this, like, it's the silence from Wilder, right? So, or not just Wilder himself, but from his side, right? So I would love to have seen anyone on his side commentate on, what transpired over the last 2 or 3 days, right? So I would like to see one of them jump in and say, hey, you know what? That Fury AJ fights 2-fight series for 2021, this is what we think about it. This is our view on this. This is our stance on that. And I mean, it's smart for them to stay quiet also, just like, let the dust settle. But selfishly, I would like to hear a little bit from that camp so that they can give us something to talk about and an insight into how they're thinking, right? So
just to go back to the bicep, bro, from what I'm reading, in October 15th, he had done an interview where he on the PBC podcast where he revealed that he underwent surgery to repair a torn left bicep suffered in the February rematch. That being said, he said recovery is going well. I'm in physical therapy. I ended up injuring it during my last fight somewhere up in there, but everything's going great with it. That's another thing. I'm just focusing on recovery, getting myself back to full health and getting ready to come back. Hopefully this corona stuff will be out the way and we can get back to camp and ready to go again sometime the end of the year. So that being said, I don't understand why Eddie's lying saying Wilder's injured. His injury happened. He had surgery. He's recovering. And why won't he be available for the end of the year the way you guys are assuming? Oh, yeah, if he can't fight.
To be honest,
Mario said the contract said, and if he can't fight, I'm like.
But Ness, to be honest, like, I might have heard, like, injuries being mentioned, but, like, to me, especially not Eddie, but Barry, like, the word he used were not so much about the injury. As if he knew something about the state of affair of like Queensbury promotion or the deal or whatever happened in the first fight. But he talked about like financial issues, meaning that like, the third fight would not happen. Not about necessarily about the injury.
It's nothing new though, Mitty. Like, it's nothing new. Everyone knows they're gonna lose $18 million without a gate, and that's why they're considering Macau and Bahrain and freaking Australia.
I don't think it's just about a gate because like it's so easy for everyone to see it. Like, but I don't know. Again, it could be like smart like promoter talk or whatever. But it's interesting that they go down that route as if they have some kind of like inside information that is just much more than just purely the gate, right? The gate being a problem, we understand that, right? So,
listen, I don't want to make it sound like as if I was putting down the chance of the fight happening or suggesting that I'm aware of a timeline or anything like that. I just wanted to be clear that, it doesn't have to be an injury. It can be the fact that, they can't host a fight for Wilder Fury 3 for another 2 years, maybe, in terms of, the economics and being able to get the gate and when a full audience can come back to capacity. I mean, we don't know when those timelines are.
Okay, so
all
tell
I'm saying
me,
is we don't know if that's what pushes the fight back or not, and neither do you.
All right, so tell me this. I don't have to know because you put yourself in Wilder, Shelley Finkel, Al Heyman, and Fox's position. Are you all of a sudden going to say, oh, there's no money to do the fight? Y'all don't like the numbers. All right, so let Tyson go do his thing and have fun with his career. We're going to rebuild Wilder and revisit it whenever economics get back? Are you insane?
I don't think that's going to be up to them.
Why not? We got a contract, homeboy. Stop acting like
that's going to be up to Wilder and Fury to take those.
Let's remember this. Let's stop dreaming because we dreamed already with AJ Ruiz, and we seen that wasn't true. We seen the Ruiz with Big Al and Johnny Cochran. He couldn't get out the fucking contract. So neither is Fury. That's just the bottom line.
I'm not saying that Fury's going to get out of the contract like that. You keep thinking this is like a us versus them situation. This is about whether or not this fight can, sustain the kind of economics it needs to go forward. And if it can't, then it could be in both their interests to revisit something else until they can.
Okay. So we're past that, Mario. Listen, I'm walking with you.
Okay.
I'm past that bull crap, right? Now tell me.
Call it bull crap, but
yes, because until you can tell me what Wilder's supposed to do in the interim while Tyson Fury takes the belt and does whatever he wants on ESPN, please explain to me what Wilder does. Because remember, there's still a mandatory. And evidently, according to Eddie and Mitty, there's money to do the mandatory. There's enough because it ain't a big fight. So what if he loses? What happens to Wilder's rematch? It'll never happen until you can give me something logic, something logical, something sane. How is Wilder just going to step aside and do what exactly? They'll never allow it.
I mean, I get it. I hear what you're saying. You're saying that, that Tyson Fury is the prize. And so for Wilder, he desperately needs Fury to remain the prize. And, I just can't say that. All I can say is that that's not Fury's problem. That's not anybody's problem. But,
bro, I have no clue.
Deontay.
It's a
contract.
you're saying
that it's like
it's a contract to a
Wilder
rematch. That's it.
What do you mean? What's Wilder going to do? He can do whatever he wants to do.
No, he can't.
Whatever he can do.
No, he can't.
Why?
Mario? You know what? I'm done. I'm not even gonna debate because I don't think you're like doing that. Like I don't even think you're being serious. Like
I don't understand. Like I'm just saying that that the way that Barry broke it down, it's like if that fight can't be made, period, because people aren't going to get paid.
Barry Hearn is with Matchroom. He has absolutely nothing to do with Frank Warren, Queensberry, Top Rank, Heyman Boxing, Deontay Wilder, Shelley Finkel. Absolutely nothing.
But he still brought up a point that I feel is at least worth exploring. You're just trying to cover your ears like a kid and, no, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. No, don't do it. Like, you're just burying your head in the sand.
No, you just love to play up to the UK. Let me tell you something. What did the UFC do? You're a UFC guy. What did the UFC do? Were they not successful with their pay-per-view?
I mean, yeah, if you're talking about the one they did on COVID, sure.
Yes, they were.
Yeah, they've been successful with
So what gives you the reason that we won't be successful? Tell me. Why can't we do a pay-per-view? Isn't that what Bob has been saying?
But why are you asking me that? I didn't say we could or couldn't.
Because you're the one saying that you believe Barry Hearn when he says there's no money and Wilder. Let me finish so you can get the whole scope. You believe him when he says there's no money and Wilder Fury probably can't happen this year. So because it can't happen because there's no money, we're going to do this lesser fight and do a mandatory. Wilder just will, I don't know, he'll just wait. He's going to wait. Man,
It doesn't say he believes it.
Exactly.
It doesn't say he believes it. He's saying like this is like good promotional talk, right? Obviously, the other side is going to do whatever they want to do to derail the situation and push whatever they want.
He said it could happen. He said it could happen, and we all know it can't.
Listening, and you weren't. Knock it off. It's fine. We caught you slipping.
Bro, look at the chat. Look at the chat.
A lot of stuff in the background.
Look at the chat. They're not calling me nuts. It's you. That's not me. It's in the chat. It's not me. People know there is a contract.
Smart.
I don't even know how I'm being optimistic. If anything, I feel like I'm being a little pessimistic in my approach.
You're being sarcastic.
I'm bringing up the topic so that we can all chop it up. Okay, so it's your point of view that it's stupid and delusional and never could happen. It's my point of view that I don't know if it could or could not happen, but that's a very, very good point. That fight contract was done at a time when they didn't have so many things that prevent those things from happening. That's a fair point across the board. And just because we're talking Wilder Fury, you got your panties in an uproar. It's all good. I mean, it's fine.
Sure, I got my panties in an uproar. You specifically
I'm
said
not the one upset.
You specifically said, "Oh, it's not my fault. Wilder's thinking of Fury as a prize, and that he's the prize, and he needs."
I said you were thinking that.
Can I finish? Can I finish?
Go ahead.
And he needs to remain a prize for Wilder, but that's not Fury's fault. What the fuck are you talking about? There's a contract. He has a rematch. That's it. He's not thinking about
and
Fury.
Why can't he get his rematch afterwards?
Same way Whyte
can't go do what he can do.
Same way Whyte was calling out Wilder when he was the champ. Now he's calling out Fury. No one cares about the person who has the belt. Only the belt. Only you do that to go away from the topic. Because if you believe that it can happen, explain to me what does Wilder, Shelley, and Al do in the meantime? You haven't given me anything. You said sarcastically, it doesn't matter what they do. It's not it's not Fury's fault to be the give both sides. Give both sides because Mitty, because my answer to this is it's a lie and it can't happen. So you guys give me both sides. If you believe that it can happen, tell me what does Wilder do?
No. I'm saying like Wilder and Shelley, obviously they just come out and debunk this lie, right? And just they play their side and say, hey, what is going on here? This guy is talking nonsense. This is our plan. This is what we're doing, and we're staying put. We're doing a rematch because that's the only option we've got, and that's the most logical thing for us to do. That's what I would do if I was in their shoes. But what we're trying to do here is like debate and try to understand why, or like, another promotional company obviously interested in like debunking or derailing this whole plan and positioning their own fighter in an interesting fight. Why would they use certain things and then just sprinkle it into people's mind? They're not stupid either. They want people to start thinking, and maybe there's like a little bit of truth in what they're saying, not the full truth, because, that sounds like crazy to us, right? But I want to understand, what do they know, or why are they just pushing those buttons? Is there a little bit of truth to it? And what can we talk about it? And when can we just try to understand what is going on? Right? So,
you said it's a debate, so that's what I'm asking. Since you and Mario believe that there could be some possibility in this, what does Wilder do? What does Wilder do?
I mean, I don't know.
If that was true.
But Mario, that's the important part of this. In order, you gotta let the listeners know the truth. In order for what Barry is saying to happen, Wilder has to say yes, brother. There is a contract with paper. You keep shaking your head no.
Of course he does.
All
what the fuck are you talking about?
So how the fuck is it possible? What is he going to do? Tell me.
He has to say yes.
Tell me, what's the smart business move? Is there a smart business move there?
No.
Is there?
What he would do.
Do you know? Listen, you haven't talked to that man in like 3 months, so you don't know what he could or could not do. So don't sit here and try to tell and accuse me of not having. Like, I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. So you want to go ahead and say that? You can say whatever you want, but I'm just trying to tell you. Go ahead, Mitty. I'm sorry.
What Wilder can do is take some money to allow that to happen, and stipulate that no matter what, he gets the winner, which is the whole point of a step aside. Okay, that's what you want to do. Maybe the money is not that great for me in this one, or whatever your financial issues are. No problem. I'm gonna sit tight. I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna train. I'm gonna get my bicep better or whatever. I'm just gonna work on my technical skills. I'm gonna work on a game plan that will allow me better success to win in the future. But give me at least, I don't know, free meal or whatever that is, right? I'll step aside. I'll hold tight.
So are we to assume...
Let me read a real quick super chat. Drink More Water says, why does he keep interjecting Hearn into Wilder biz?
Because they believe, and sheep are sheep. That's what I'm saying. A dude that has absolutely nothing to do with the contracts, never seen it, is telling you that a fight that was successful with over 850,000 buys can't happen again, when the real promoter is saying, no, we got offers from other countries. These guys are sitting here debating. Okay, and let's debate. Cool. Wilder somehow does what Eddie's father is saying. What happens in the meantime? Because last I checked, Fury said, I'm not giving him $2 million to step aside, and Wilder said, I'm not accepting step aside. So how's this happen? Oh, in this hypothetical, we're going to hypothetically assume that they would accept the secondary step-aside offer, both of them. Like, all of a sudden, Tyson's going to say, all right, I'll give him money now, and Wilder's going to say, all right, I'll accept money now. Come on, guys. Like, it's impossible. This dude is just trying to stay relevant. He has no dog in this race. And until someone can tell me something logical that Wilder would do in the meantime while his belt just goes off into freaking La La Land and is put on jeopardy now, please. And there's no contract. So Mitty wants you to believe that Wilder's gonna step aside, rehab the bicep. Fury's gonna go fight Dillian Whyte, do the mandatory, and they're gonna put in the contract that me and you will fight later on at a later date.
That's what a step aside is. You step aside and you get the winner.
So what happens if Whyte wins?
That has to be in a contract. That has to be in a contract that you get the winner.
So now we're gonna add a third person. Now we got to bring Whyte into this, and he's got to agree.
That person has to be in there if that's what they want to do.
Yo, this is just as fun. This is just as good as my card with Tyson Fury and AJ with Wilder and Dillian. That's how much of a fake thing this is. It's a fantasy. It's a fantasy, bro.
And here's the thing. I agree with you that AJ would be the only one that something like that could get done. I don't think Whyte that gets done. But you laugh at it, and I'm just curious. Why do you laugh at it? You laugh at it because you think that like Wilder would never go for it, Whyte would never go for it, or Fury would never go for it, or all three of them would never go for it?
I'm going to go with the last one, all three.
All three of them?
All three have already said no.
See, I think Wilder and Fury are absolutely right. I think Whyte would be okay with doing it, though. Obviously.
Whyte would say yes.
I think Whyte would be the only one to say yes about
Whyte
it.
will agree to that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Whyte don't got nothing. He ain't
exactly
been a
right. Except his mandatory that he will keep pushing and he'll keep his like promotion.
And he's gonna hold on to it.
That can be sidestep. We all understand that. We all know that, right? Well, we all been watching boxing. We all understood like.
And I think it will.
I think White's position. Right? I think Whyte is gonna have the same position as Wilder because that's what they have. They're two mandatories essentially. Wilder's the mandatory rematch and Whyte is the mandatory next fight.
For the belt.
So they're not giving up those slots, guys. They're just not.
But if the only one that could get knocked off, it's Whyte.
Think about this. Think about this, bro. Heyman Boxing just lost their piece of the puzzle. Top Rank had a heavyweight. He was a lineal champ. DAZN had a heavyweight. He had 4 belts. Heyman Boxing had a heavyweight. He was the WBC champ. Bro, they don't got a heavyweight no more. It's easier. You heard the people we interviewed. It's easier to get dates when you hold a piece of the heavyweight title. Like, he was an American with a belt. They're never letting him walk away. They're sending him back to war. You going back, go get it. You got to bring it back. Bro, they sent Earl to the UK. Bradley went to the UK.
No, that was different. They sent Earl to the UK to just go and get what they thought he could get, 100%. And that was the only thing.
According to Earl, they didn't want him to go. According to Earl on that interview, they didn't want him to go.
That's your chance to get like a belt, right? Because Earl was in that position. He was just climbing up the rank. He was just a guy chomping at the bits, trying to get a title. He was in that situation, the Dillian Whyte. He was the guy that say, whatever, let me do anything I've got to do to get that belt. And he went in there and he won that fight.
Yo, I had to adjust my camera because I couldn't see my
wants
shirt.
To do, right?
See, if I could book this, like, in my opinion, the perfect way, it would be, and again, this is my perfect way. I'm not saying this would be perfect for anyone or Ness, but if we were to get Wilder Fury 3, right? And then basically have the winner in Fury, or I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that like that. I meant the winner, if it is Fury, okay, let's just say it's Fury, then he fights Whyte, Joshua and Wilder fight, and that would be vice versa. Wilder fights Whyte, and then Fury and Joshua fight, and then the winners fight each other. To me, it would be the best of both worlds in that we're not losing a super fight, right? Because that's what we're worried about in Fury AJ. But instead, now we got Fury AJ if Fury loses, or Wilder AJ, which to me is still a big fight that I want to see, right? Wilder has a chance to earn his shot back at Fury for a 4th fight, and AJ has a chance to really kind of save himself from the loss with Ruiz, that I still think that the stench is on him just a little bit. I think he's redeemed himself for sure, but, to what degree, I don't know. So I think, and then Whyte gets his, mandatory. So that would be a way that it could work out perfect. Obviously, that's a waste of time saying it because it's fairy tale stuff. But I just, if I could think logically and how everybody could get, something, it would work like that. But yeah.
So what about if the WBC, because they were on a live, I'm sure Fury said this on that live in his face. So what if he just sits back with his board of members and say, look, we got to get this 4% some way or another way. He's going to drop the belt if that AJ fight is on the table. So if and when that happens, let's just make him franchise the way we made Canelo. Canelo didn't ask for it. We just made him. Let's make him franchise. What do y'all say then?
I mean, he gets the ticket to do whatever he wants. That's the franchise way.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to stay consistent with that franchise one. So if we don't like the franchise, we've got to say the same thing. I mean, that's a way out of that situation, and that's like a situation that, puts everyone at ease financially, but not us. We're not getting anything out of that. So we don't have to agree with
it's
that.
The cheapest route. It's the cheapest route. Ness, what do you think?
But
Same question back to you.
But Tyson is different. He might not want it. Well, because he likes the belts. So he won't be able to call himself undisputed. He likes the accolades.
Yeah.
He likes it, but he says different things. Like I said, when I opened up, he says one thing and it's total opposite in the same sentence, right? So
and what does he like more, too, even if that's the case, right?
But the truth is, and I think like most boxers, right? But I think he's a proud guy, and he's a guy that, would be happy with saying that, what, I've got nothing to prove to anyone. If I beat those guys, then it means that I'm the champion. So beating a top quality opponent or a worthy opponent is probably, he likes that a bit more than the belts, in my opinion, right? So that's why he's just seeing the lineal champion and all those kind of things. And I kind of believe that, but I can't ride with that. We can't say that we want to see undisputed, and then whenever it's convenient for us to say, oh, okay, I don't want to see undisputed anymore. I just want to see Tyson versus AJ or Tyson versus Wilder with no belt on the line just for pride. I don't want to see that. I want to see someone walking out of the ring with all the belts. I think
both of them would value it more because it hasn't been done in so long. They're both from the UK, and the last guy to do it is Lennox. They would want to do it. They would want to do it.
Personally, if you're asking me what I want to see, I don't want to see that. I want to see someone walking out of that ring, calling himself real, undisputed, and have all the belts around their waist.
I agree. That's what I want.
According to the chat, Suleiman claimed they will not make a heavyweight franchise champion when asked.
And I wanted to bring that up because I didn't get to see. But that was
when Wilder was champ.
Video. I didn't get to see the video. No. That was this weekend on the live, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, they must ask it again because this one is when Wilder making Wilder the franchise champ back then.
Then you know what? Then I'm sorry. Then never mind. It might be that because what happened was I didn't get to see the live, and then I tried to go find the video, and I couldn't. Even on YouTube, anybody that had it clipped, they got it taken down. So I went to an article to see if it had the video, and the article was about him saying that he wouldn't issue a franchise champion for the trilogy, but it could be audio from that other time. So talking about Wilder as the champion. So shoot, my bad. But I'm good. If y'all anybody want to say the last words on it?
Suleiman definitely can, go back on his words.
I'm sorry, repeat that.
I said I feel like Suleiman could definitely go back on his words and just be like, look, we after revising it with the WBC, board members, we decided this is the best course of action for the heavyweight division. I could just hear that coming down on us, man.
I agree. I think you're right.
I think
that he would definitely do that. Because the money is there too. It's like at the end of the day, it would be one thing if this was like a moral victory or something else, but this is about money. Ultimately this is about money, and he's not going to turn his he ain't going to turn down his collar at nothing like the kind of money that would be with Fury AJ or Wilder AJ.
I mean, they all do that. They all switch their words and make it convenient to whatever situation they have in front of them. So that's normal. But my final word on this is that, hey, I guess we're not going to know until we see what fight is next, right? When we see them like in a press conference with a fight announced, whether it's Wilder Fury, whether it's Fury AJ, or whether it's like Fury Whyte. We're not going to know until then. So until then, we're going to keep talking like this and talking in circles, I guess.
It's all nice, to fantasize and kind of get ideas tossed up and what coulda, shoulda, but we know that contractually what's next. And until I hear anything coming from the Wilder camp, I'm going to take it as just good talk, good fights being talked about. A little disrespectful in one sense, but in the other sense, you got to respect Tyson Fury's confidence. And, the way he laid it out last fight with Wilder, he earned that talk. He earned that stance. So,
yeah.
But.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. But I want to hear from the Wilder camp.
Definitely. I definitely want to hear from the Wilder camp. It's been, and obviously I was being sarcastic. We have, we've definitely, we've heard interviews from him in the last 3 months. But that said, it feels like we haven't heard from him in forever. Like, he's not talking. He's not saying anything. Like, I want to hear from him. But ultimately, I don't want to. And that's the thing. I don't want to exclude him from the conversation because he's an important aspect of this, too. He doesn't have a fight contract with AJ. Or he doesn't have an agreement that was announced on social media. So, he could do whatever he wants to do. And I don't think, Whyte, it makes his list of the biggest things he's looking forward to if he were to win the title back. But at the same time, I don't think that he's very far down the list either. But ultimately, I would just be very disappointed if we go into an AJ Fury / AJ Wilder fight and all the belts weren't on the line. So if Fury were to make that decision to drop it, it would just be ultimately disappointing. But, I watch the sport for matchups. So as long as we were to get the fight, that would be the only saving grace.
So moving to topic number 2, Errol Spence Jr. had some things to say about Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder and the fact that, it's something that we discuss here all the time, bro. UK fans are, true boxing fans, bro. They ride for their guy no matter what. And that's kind of what Earl is saying that he does and that he wants Americans to do. They should be rooting for Wilder and not for Tyson Fury. I guess you lost me, right?
Yeah, we lost you. It's okay. I heard most of the part. Listen, Spence was on the Brian Custer show this past weekend, which is the Last Stand podcast. And, they kind of got into a few of the discussions about, different things in the sport. Fury Wilder came up. And this is what Earl had to say. I'm going to read these quotes here. I'm all American kid. That's what I don't like either. I don't like how the American guys are rooting for Tyson Fury and he's from the UK when all the UK guys are going for their guy. He went on to say, all the boxers are going for Tyson Fury and all the fans are going for Tyson Fury. We've got people here that have got split support. A lot of Americans are going for Tyson Fury. I don't like that a lot. So, that was in regards to Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury 3 talk, whether Wilder had a chance. And, they kind of spoke about that on the Brian Custer show, Last Stand podcast. You could check it out from this past weekend when he was on. And so, I don't know what y'all think about it. I'll go ahead and real quick start it off. I think that, to be honest with you, he's got a point. I think about, I don't think I've ever disliked a Mexican fighter other than Chavez Jr., but that was after time went on. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely rooted for him from the beginning. And, I think that it is a thing that, people root for their countrymen. But in this sense, it's hard for me to say that I don't agree as well, because I think that when you're speaking about the fighters like Wilder, Fury, and you're watching just exciting, boxing, it's hard for me to root for like one or the other, and I'm just using that as an example. But, if I'm watching two guys that I'm not really invested in, like there is not this overwhelming support. One guy wins me over or not. I didn't used to be that favorite guys. Andre Ward was one of my favorite guys, but it wasn't like people I rooted for from the jump. Canelo didn't have to do anything, and I just started rooting for him. I can't say the same thing for, most American fighters.
Real quick before I jump in with you, shout out to Father Jack Hackett. Just made a super chat. Didn't say anything. Funny name, Father Ted. All right. So I'm going to say, it's crazy how we look at things, right? We're in a country where, we're the land of the many, different cultures. We get everything over here. So we got fans of all nationalities here. And, I think that we're one of the few countries that actually, looking at it through a different scope, right? Instead of in a negative matter, we're the few countries that actually roots for other fighters because the country itself has those nationalities within itself. You got all types of nationalities in America. UK people live here. Irish people live here. Italians live here. So you get guys rooting for a guy that comes from overseas, but it's it's their home country, and that's why I think that sometimes happens. But in the end, I think that we do need to support our American fighters more. Many a times, we see how the Irish travel, the UK travel, and how they support their boxers, and it's just amazing to see that energy. And I don't know if you guys out there know, but like that energy helps in the fight. There is that crowd energy that can bring you back from a hard shot and give you that adrenaline shot that you need. And all that stuff is nice. It's nice to see a country behind its champion, and we don't see it as much as we should like the other countries. I know Coach Mitty, you can tell us all about that because you're from the UK.
I'm telling you, do me enough of that United Nation talk, man. I'm gonna tell you straight. I don't know anything about that because we're not built like that. We support our people. I'm joking, right? But to be honest, like obviously, you can see it from like the way the UK fans are traveling and the way the UK fans get behind their fighters and. In sport in general, I can tell you that this is not like a European thing. This is a UK thing. You guys know that I'm not from the UK. I grew up in France, and only when I came to the UK, I saw passionate people at the lowest level of sports. Also, they do it for boxers that are not top professional boxers. In small hall shows, they come and they just like put like a crazy atmosphere in there. They do it for low-level sports as well. They have like what they call non-league football, where you can see like, 1,000, 2,000 people watching like a very low-level sport. You'll never see that in France. You'll never see that across Europe. So the passion is good. And I think it just comes from people who actually really love sports and they love an underdog story. And that's good. And I think like definitely the US should benefit from that and can benefit from that. They should do it more because it elevates the sports as a whole within the country, But having said all this, sport is a weird thing to just be patriotic about because if you love the sport, you're a fan of what's going on either on the football pitch or in the boxing ring. You're a fan of the skills, right? So every now and again, you'll find like a fighter that doesn't come from your country, but represent like a style and skills that you love. But still, when you have fighters like Deontay Wilder, who have like that win, understood why he didn't have as big of a following, earlier in his career. He should not even be. No one should have ever mentioned Deontay Wilder not being known in the US, like in any interview, because he's built like, athletically. You can just do so much thing to build that guy. And because he doesn't have like necessarily a noisy nation behind him, I'm not talking about like those people in the chats, the TBV guys. They're ready to defend him and die for him. Like, we acknowledge you and thumbs up. Well done, guys. But the rest of the nation, right? They need to be behind him, and not just him, but fighters in general. Like, so yeah. Floyd is one of them. Why does he get so much shit?
Definitely. Before Ness goes, go ahead. That's what I was gonna do.
You got the UK presence had to be felt, especially in second fight. The whole crowd was chanting, "You big Dasa."
That was from Matt.
Matt Garcia. Shut up.
Yeah, Garces.
Go
ahead, Ness.
Call him La Metra.
No, I was just saying that was Machine Gun.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, but that's crazy, right? That in LA or in Las Vegas or in like a New York arena, that you allow the away fighter to get home advantage, to get like the crowd to boost him and push him. You take away that home court advantage from the fighter. And that's something that's, should be disheartening for a US or homegrown fighter. I mean,
the thing is,
to hear that.
It's different though, is that America is so big, right? Like you guys have like 4 or 5, big stadiums that you could hold fights. Like we got like 100 stadiums, bro. Every state has multiple stadiums that they could hold the fight. So it's just more difficult.
That's a cop out, like we say, right? So the fact that you say we have like 4 or 5 stadiums that can hold big fights, that's not necessarily true. Now I understand what you're saying about the size of the country. That's undeniable, right? You have like the size of the country. But at the same time, even in localized areas, right? So when you can just say, let me take the tri-state area, for example, right? And say, okay, we're now going to get behind like our tri-state fighters. We're not going to get our LA fighters and then localize it. You still don't get that feel. How can I just go in the bar?
Because it doesn't work over here. It doesn't work. Like, Daniel Jacobs
then
is the perfect...
Say that instead of saying this is the crowd. That's saying this is like...
It's different. That's what I'm saying. Like, you guys have a small piece of land to dominate. These fighters are at a disadvantage. They have to take over 52 states.
I told you that doesn't work like that in continental Europe, for example. In continental Europe, you go in Belgium. Let me take you like a smaller country than the UK. You go in Belgium, like, which is not too far away from the UK. You can just drive there in 3 hours if you're in London or something like that. Yeah, it's probably, I want to say, maybe a quarter of the UK, if not less, right? In terms of population, it's not as big. They don't get the love and the support. If you're saying that the support is proportional to your size, then those countries should have the whole country following their fighters or their sports people. They don't. It's the passion of the people. It's the people
that have like
it's so spread out. It's different.
It's so spread out. Like you gotta be, to be a fighter that makes it, you gotta take over your local area. Then you gotta take over your region. Then you gotta take over your state. And when you live in like a smaller place, like I don't know, Boston or whatever, like, you could do that, right? But then imagine a place like Texas or California or New York or Florida, where you have to get these huge places that are essentially the size of the UK, if not bigger, right? Mario. Those regions, it's tough to do. It's tough to bring that.
Put it in your home city.
Okay.
Let me Shinobi you real quick.
All right, go ahead, Shinobi.
Look, NBA, NHL, NFL, MLB, etc. We got too many stars over here in the United States. Too many competition for the spotlight.
That is also. Tell me you never heard of David Beckham.
But let me ask you a question though, because I seen today you gave me a guy to research, and I'm not going to bring him up because from what I've read, he's very controversial. But you brought an old promoter up to me, right? So I started going down the list, and I was looking at old fighters like Audley Harrison and a bunch of guys from the UK, right? But then I started looking up sports Bro, I had no idea like how big darts is in the UK, and 10-pin bowling, which if I understand it, it's regular bowling. I don't know why you call it 10-pin. But there's all these other sports that I found out like Barry Hearn's in charge of,
let me
and
tell
so
you,
it's
like,
different though. But we have the NBA and we have the MLB. Like these are major markets, the NFL that fighters have to compete with. I mean,
Bro,
don't y'all just have soccer, really?
It's also different. Like,
no, not really.
They're from they're all considered UK. Like even Mitty, he's got to say, "Yo, I'm from France. We still book him as UK, and the UK adapts him. Over here, this is a country full of immigrants. It's a country full of immigrants.
That's what you said, Les.
Everybody is fragmented.
Those people adopt you because it's all their passion. I was going to ask Mario before Doomsday cut in, right? And say, Mario, or even Eunice or Doomsday, if you fight tomorrow in the US, right? If you fight like a Border Wars type of fight, or maybe a higher level, like how many of your locals and friends and people will just spend their money and come and watch you? I can tell you in the UK, at the lowest level, I organize and promote fight when one dude can bring like 300-400 people to watch them. One dude that doesn't even know how to box, Yeah, and that's the passion of the people.
The numbers that get you signed the top rank in these parts.
But that's what I mean. That's what you have to understand. And that's the guy that never laced like a boxing glove like before in his life. He's just trained for 10 weeks. This guy is selling like 300-400 tickets. I'm telling you. And
I remember when we just started this show on here on YouTube, and I made the comment, the UK has the best boxing fans. And I got a lot of heat for it. What I meant to say was boxing is a bigger sport there. And Mitty, actually, I remember you're one of the guys that came to my defense, and you said what I said made sense, even if I didn't say it the right way. But that's what I'll say again today, is that the UK, they have a bigger section of hardcores, because they're not even really hardcores. The whole country, they look at boxing a different way than our country does as a whole. I mean, so many people I know that don't even know a fighter's name other than Floyd Mayweather or Canelo. Like, that's it. They couldn't, I mean, maybe Manny Pacquiao, they wouldn't know who Andre Ward is. They wouldn't know who Crawford is. Spence, even being from Texas. Like, I have so many friends that are like that and family that are like that, that it's like, it's just different here, is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I get you. Like, I get you. And it's a shame, because if you can bring that, like, passion and people, like, also, I don't think it's just about, like, the size of the country. To me, it feels like Americans love a winner, no matter what it is. Like, English people do love an underdog, whereas, like, I believe, like, Americans love winners. Like, if you don't have like a successful track record of winning, and if you're not the guy that's going to bring the gold and the guy that we can just be behind you, then I guess, you're not going to have that kind of following. But how do you get that from ground zero, basically? How do you build that, except from being hyped by top promoters and all those things, right? It's kind of difficult. Whereas, like I keep telling you, it happens at every single level in the UK, and they do love an underdog. They do love a good story, and I think they also do love a good time, right? So it's not necessarily just like supporting the guy, all the way out. It's also just making like a good night out, having fun, and then
Doomy, you think that's fair? You think Americans like what do you say, champions, or like winners more than like underdogs?
We do like winners. I mean, but at the same time, we love on the underdog. I mean, America was the underdog for a while. I think that we love underdogs. I think that that's the American dream. You come from another country, you come here as the underdog, and you win. So
that's true. But you love them enough to spend your money and go and watch them. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about.
Exactly, Mitty. And you know what I'm going to say? I think the real fans of these sports love underdogs. It's the casuals of these sports that love winners, because it's like, you look at the people like Tom Brady and the Yankees and Boston Red Sox, like people that are fans of baseball and football, they don't like those teams. They don't like Tom Brady. It's the casuals, it's the girls that watch, one game of the year and call themselves a football fan. It's the people that don't watch any basketball until playoffs. It's those people that their favorite player is LeBron. Look at Triple G. He wasn't anything in America until casual fans started being told, oh, he's the most dangerous guy he's very scary. Oh, he's so good. Same thing with Fedor. Nobody in America knew who Fedor was or liked him. But then hardcore started telling MMA casuals, that Fedor guy, oh, he's dangerous. Watch out for that guy. So then casuals start talking it up.
I was gonna ask you who Fedor is, man. Lucky you said MMA.
I just think that we have so much more going on. Even myself, man, my early 20s, I didn't have time for boxing, bro. Like, I didn't have time for that shit. And it's different here. Like, you guys, like, they use boxers over there for endorsements. Like, we don't have that over here. Like, they're not on, you guys got AJ on everything. Like, he's on TV, he's selling juices and all. Like, that doesn't happen for fighters over here.
It is different, though. Like, to be honest, like, my whole time of being in the UK is the only one being endorsed at that level. Because, obviously, he's got the Olympic, he's got the physique, he's got so much going for him. I don't think I've seen, like, I guarantee I haven't seen Ricky Hatton on commercial on TV selling, like, soap or shower gel.
Looks like we lost him again. I have so many horrible internet issues today.
Standing just boxing, right? Is that guy, is that superstar.
Let me get a super chat. You got one from Alexander Wilson, says, America has a lot of bandwagon fans. And also Rod870 says, clowns like Mario don't support black U.S. fighters. Okay.
Yeah, man. Look, man. I think it's more than just support. I just think that we busy, How much of the population is into basketball or football and they don't have time for both? I'm just keeping it real. I wasn't into none of them sports.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. I think that too many people are on your TV, and boxing doesn't make up a large percentage of that. How many sports networks do we have, and how many minutes a day are dedicated to boxing?
Exactly.
Listen,
zero.
Listen,
like,
the sports
not
channel,
zero, but most of the time, very little.
No, but you're right, because if I turn on ESPN right now, I could literally go 20 hours without seeing any boxing. Any boxing. Like, and I'm talking about the mention. It's not like we get boxing run on those ESPN shows. They talking golf, they talking baseball, they talking everything but boxing. It just started getting on ESPN because of the Top Rank deal.
Is it a boxing only problem then? You're saying? Like,
they've never had a boxing only program, especially not
boxing only, but like in terms of like supporting.
No,
like
it's just
American
boxing
fighters
only. It's boxing only. It's boxing only. Our
Okay.
audience is too small in America. Like, you guys keep saying, "Oh no, size ain't the." Everything we give you a reason, you say no. Meanwhile, we got how many millions of people? You guys are smarter. How many millions live in America? How many millions? And all we do, it don't even matter the number, Mitty. All we do is 2.6. Oh, on occasion, 4 million.
We have 331 million.
Come on, tell me. Why is Canelo doing only 1 million? Why did Wilder Fury only do 850? Dog, it's not the same over here. It's not the same. We are busy. We got track stars over here. Everything.
Sports fishing.
It's too much. People
out
here.
But that's the thing. Like, so like,
bass fishing and whole.
Let's talk about let's talk about the hardcores then. Like, so for a guy like Spence to complain, right? So it means that even like amongst the hardcores, right? So when was the last time like any of the hardcore just like spend their cash to go and see like a big fight, or not even a big fight, like an average fight.
but you
just
would
let
need,
me go and travel and just do that.
You would need software. How do we know who's a hardcore and what's the criteria?
No, like amongst our own community, like so when we talking, hopefully we get like someone who calls in a bit later and tell
Not
you, hey,
everybody.
Listen
to me. I've been doing this for how many years, and I always consider, you know, a guy like Jose from Canada to be a unicorn.
Go ahead, Ness. Go ahead.
I was saying that I've been doing this for like 10 years, and I've always considered a guy like you, actually, let me throw you in there too, you and Jose to be unicorns. You guys are unicorns. I've been doing this almost 10 years, and I've met people from everywhere. Vito's from Malaysia. I've met people from everywhere, and you and Jose are unicorns. I've never seen dudes go to that many fights. Y'all go to fights, and y'all flying from another country.
How many guys do we know, Ness, that we've met over the years that are Americans that go everywhere? What are we talking about? Twitter had a gang of people that went to every Triple G fight, every Chavez Jr. fight. There are American hardcore fans that pay the money to travel.
Mexican Americans.
True.
The Twitter fans that he's talking about are all Mexicans.
You're right.
All of them, 99% of them are Mexicans. There was a few Puerto Ricans mixed in that batch, but they were all Mexicans.
Fair point.
All of them.
Yeah,
and they always gonna come out. They always gonna come out.
You're absolutely right. I got you. No, you absolutely 100%.
Even Broner, and this is the last issue, but we got to move on. Even like a guy like Broner, Crawford, they don't want to Ward. They forced Ward out of Oakland. Oakland, like, come on. He was doing good over there. Nah, he get home court advantage. Same thing for Crawford. Same thing for Broner. You know, yeah, man.
But it's BS. Yeah, it's BS. I mean, listen, these guys are the champs. It's their market. It is what it is. But that's when I say you can't really compare it to the UK because, you know, look I'm a Crawford fan, bro. Right? I'm a Crawford fan, but like if I'm going to go to Oklahoma, you know what I'm saying? Like how big a fan am I? Versus if I could just drive like a couple hours, would I do it? Absolutely. If Crawford fought in San Antonio every time, bro, I would be at every Crawford fight. You feel me? But am I going to drive 15 hours or am I going to take that flight every time? Like that's a different thing. You know what I'm saying? Like
bro,
I
don't even think I've been to any Crawford fight at Madison Square Garden. Not one. I went to see Crawford when he was in Atlantic City. Like, bro, it's expensive to live in the tri-state area, first and foremost.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You could Google square footage, all that, you know? I ain't got time to go see bullshit fights. Like, I seen Wilder Fury, because that's a real fight. You know, I went to real fights. Triple G, Golovkin, you know, I went to real fights. You know what I mean? I'm not spending my hard-earned money on a bullshit fight. Like, boxing doesn't get that right. Football has that.
That's the difference.
No, that's the difference.
This
is what I gotta get. This is what you don't get. Like, football has it. So, poor people like me, we know Dolphins gonna fight 49ers such and such day. We save for that because we know that's gonna be a good game.
And tickets are gonna be very expensive.
So we save and we plan like normal Americans. Boxing says F us to the fans. It's like, oh, we fighting a day. You want to fight? Come buy this $500 ticket. You know, $79 pay-per-view. They give us 90 days. It's supposed to be the average, but we don't even get 90 on fight announcements.
That's a boxing problem. That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
okay.
like
I get it.
They'll never get fans. But the biggest problem is this: any kid, my son's in the backyard. He made me put up a hoop. He didn't make me put up a bag. I got a bag in the garage. He made me hang a hoop. Why? Because you could just turn the TV on and see basketball. You could see SportsCenter and Stephen A. Smith every day. He's gonna talk basketball. They don't got nothing over here that's boxing 24/7. But us, we are it. That's it.
That's it.
That's why you're not doing it right, man. You need to tell your son, man. You know, how can you want to hoop when I'm hosting the boxing voice?
No,
man?
because my son
education.
My son is he's a millennial, bro. My son, like I told you already, he's in the 4X and he's He's a numbers guy like me, and he's looking at it like, look, I made this amount of money today. I would have had to work this much, even, because his mom is like, yo, but Ma, even if I had a $16 an hour job, look, I wouldn't make this in a day. And I would have to be picking up boxes or punching in. So, this generation is different. They're going to take advantage of the internet, man. My man's on, shit, I'm trying to follow him. He on Forex making dough weekly. I'm trying to get that.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
All right. I guess, I can be happy you call me a unicorn, man. That's all, man. That's what I'm taking about.
Bro, because you guys are unique.
You're a unique. You're a unicorn with the dope intro. I can't believe we all skipped over that, bro. That thing was fire.
Bro.
Thanks, man.
Every state has a football team. Every state has a basketball team. Every
state had something like that, like a fighter in each state, and fighters would face for state fighters.
No, forget
100% different.
We need a state team. They need state teams, bro. High schools got football team and basketball team and baseball. There is no boxing here. Like, we don't have that. We barely got gyms.
Pictures this for though.
We barely got gyms out here, bro. I'm telling you.
I think if they did boxing like they do wrestling in high school, that could work at a high school level, like where it's a team and everybody got one guy, you got to compete to make the team for that weight class.
We've definitely explored that idea, and I think it will work, but I'm optimistic. I love the sport. I think you will. Look, I seen a clip of Gervonta Davis, and he said he was 8 years old, and he was punching somebody in the face in the gym. So it's all about who is coming to the school to entice those kids, and are they even gonna fucking know him? Now, if someone got behind Mike Tyson, and until the rest of his days, he went to every school recruiting, and it's like the Mike Tyson, boxing league or whatever, but it ain't gonna happen until it's something like that, bro. Like,
no, that's one.
They don't know. They only know a handful of people. Like, my son knows Floyd. Okay.
No. The one thing you mentioned, though, and that's what I've always been, amazed, and couldn't understand. Every time I get to the US, I struggle to find a boxing gym. And I'm going New Jersey, Jersey City, New York, except from the famous boxing gyms. You don't have that many boxing gyms like we have. Every single neighborhood in London, you'll be able to find a boxing gym. In the US, at least in New York and in London, Jersey City, different, man.
London is the equivalent of New York, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're the perfect person. You live in London and you visit New York frequently. How many gyms have you found? Okay, the famous Gleason's and Mendez.
But you don't even want to go. I mean, you want to go there just to check a box and everything.
Exactly.
Gleason and Mendez are just gyms they'll just make you spend money on expensive PT and stuff like that. If you're not a fighter, you're just going there for tourism. They're gonna just get your money. But in London, you get gyms in almost every neighborhood. You have a gym, a gritty gym, type of Jersey boy type of gym, where you go there to work and you work, and you pay $5 or whatever, and you just can work out. So
yeah,
and that's the problem.
We got those too. Just so you know, Mitty, we got those too in America. That's where I started going.
Got what?
$10 gyms, you know what I'm saying? Where you could just
but not enough of them.
Not enough of them.
Jersey,
boxing gyms?
I had to go to Jersey.
Yeah, but
City
you in Texas too. It's different. It's different. He's in Texas.
It is different.
He's in Texas. You go over there, you're gonna find a lot more gyms. It's also regional. You know what I mean? Like if you go to Philly, you'll find more gyms. New York, tri-state area, it ain't that. We got a few here and there, man. I mean, look, I gotta go 40-something minutes. Doomsday hates it. Doomsday hates it.
We got a new boxing gym, Ness. I gotta send you the link, man. It's right here in Roselle, champ, official.
Dog, I'm not going there because I'm chasing sparring. You know what I'm saying?
They got boxers that go there. It's a new gym that opened up. I'll talk to you about that on the.
I don't believe you, man.
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
Super chat.
Oh. Yeah, Alexander Wilson says, I live in D.C. The sports radio shows never talk about Gary Russell or Hurd. One of them didn't even know who Hurd is. That blows my mind.
Bro, listen, to change that, we need to implement boxing as part of the curriculum. I don't even understand why not. Like we don't get as many injuries as football. Football, your kids are getting damaged right there.
And it definitely is a more dangerous sport.
And if we added it to the curriculum in school, it would, make boxing richer again. And the amateur system will probably get back. Look at these high schools and these colleges, how much money they're making off of football and baseball and all this other stuff, basketball.
Well, I see it if you could make wrestling a part of the,
curriculum.
Yeah, like why not boxing, man?
Exactly.
Yo, wrestling's tough. You could get hurt, man. You could get twisted up. I seen guys.
People be paralyzed from freaking wrestling, bro. Come on.
I just don't get why it hasn't made it that way.
What makes more money though? What makes more money? Is there like professional wrestling outside of the fake stuff?
Yeah, I mean you got Olympic wrestling. That's basically it. I don't know of any professional league or anything like that.
I don't know, man.
Don't they transition into MMA? Those guys usually. I think that's what they do, right? They transition into UFC and stuff like that.
Yeah,
right?
I guess you're right.
Yeah, wrestlers make excellent transitions over to MMA. It's a thing that we talk about in the MMA community, but it's not necessarily what every wrestler does. A lot of them are doing it now because if you want to.
A lot of them end up being fucking gym cheaters, bro. Let's be real.
I mean you got some wrestlers like Daniel Cormier, who was an Olympic wrestler and he's
a UFC dude, right?
Yeah, he went to UFC, got titles. He's a champ. He was a heavyweight champ, light heavyweight champ. So and then you had Henry Cejudo that went from transitioned from wrestling over. He medaled up, gold medal.
Yo, it's education at the end of the day because it's not just showing up.
As of late, he was training with Tyson. Mike Tyson was giving Henry Cejudo some pointers on boxing.
Yeah, it's got to be education too, right? Like the kids need to know what it could be. If you don't see the Floyd Mayweather lifestyle or the way that people idolize Muhammad Ali, you probably won't get enticed into boxing. Like we need to. I don't know, some sort of like glamorize it for kids that want to be. I'm telling you, I got three kids out there hooping.
But you say that, right? And I agree with you, but you say that. But whilst we're talking about wrestling, I follow Bud on Instagram and all that swing. All I can see him like pushing his kids to is like wrestling. His kid is like a wrestler. And every time he's just
he's not pushing him. He said that's what his son wanted to do.
That's a young kid who's like, he looks like 6'8", 10 maximum, right? He looks like a very young kid. So, if my dad is a boxer, like, you want to idolize your dad and say, hey, I need to be in the ring doing my thing as well, right? So, but
man, I think kids are growing up so fast, Smitty, that they realize if I have to do what my father does, I have to be in that race, in that competition. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that's Bud's thing, but look at poor Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., you know what I mean? He's got it rough. Every junior got it rough. Even Shane Mosley Jr. Right now he's got a resurgence. He's got a new trainer. He's with Justin Gamba. He's got a new manager. But, can he win a world title? So look, those juniors got it tough, man.
But also the dads, like, they know that boxing is not like an easy way to earn a living, right? So they probably don't want that for their kids, right?
No,
so although they love the sport, they love the poetry of it and the sweet science, the truth is you get broken bones, your body hurts, and you're not necessarily going to make it, right? So it's a hard way to make a living.
Almost every fighter you interview says they don't want their kids to do it. When asked, they'll say, well, if he really wants to, but I don't want him to. That's what they say, I think you muted yourself, Mitty.
Oh, sorry. They'll teach them the fundamentals. They want them to get the discipline and all this. But there's also there's that hard part of it. There's the business part of it that kind of it disheartened you as like a parent. I've got to say, right? But, you want to teach them the sweet science and the art of it at least, right? But,
we can see Brandon said that Buzz said he's not going to let none of his kids box. And I wonder why, like, you letting them wrestle, you know what I mean? I guess, I don't know. Because I feel like, somebody suplex you on that neck, it's over, man.
combat sports.
And them dudes do them suplexes in real wrestling.
Yeah, now you could get your neck cranked. You know, you get your ear cauliflowered.
And
stuff.
I watched that movie, the wrestling movie with the dude that played Magic Mike. Remember that one? That shit was crazy. With the dude from what was he? Saturday Night Live? Is he? 40-year-old virgin dude.
Yeah, what's his name, man? Freaking.
Isn't it like a Ben? Nah, not Ben. I don't know, but yeah, that movie was crazy, bro.
Yeah, damn. What was I gonna say to? What were we talking about?
We were talking about Bud not letting his kids fight.
Yeah. Well, combat sports. Let's just agree that combat sports, first of all, is the least probably taken up sport by young men. Right? It's a fear. It's sort of like
times changed out here too, man. It just ain't the same, bro. I promise you, I ain't trying to sound tough. When we was coming up, there was street gangs. It was like fist fights, like 7th Street versus 9th Street. Like that shit don't exist no more. You start fighting, the cops coming, y'all going to jail. It's totally different. Back 20 years ago, you could fight and not go to jail. So it was like, I don't know. It just kids is built different, man. They got phones in their hand. Yo, your daughter's 5 years old with a fucking iPad in her hand, bro. No one's fighting no more. It's like, it's hard. It's hard for us over here. I'm telling you, it's hard.
Dude, yo, I see you at Call of Duty.
Yeah, dude, they on video games. It just ain't the same no more, man. When I came up, we built shit. We built stuff with our hands, like. The games is all electronic now. It's over. It's nothing is the same, man. Nothing is the same. They just ain't the same, man.
You were teenager a long time ago, Ennis, man. Building stuff like
I know. And the hoods ain't the same either no more. Like it just, over here, like again, I'm from the tri-state area. Damn, that froze up again. Oh my fucking God.
20.
And you're back. So anyway, I'm from the tri-state area. It's over here. It's different. Like, I think my hood ain't the same. The projects ain't even there no more. 7th Ave is gone. Grafton is gone. Hayes Home. Everything is gone. Like, how is it a hood? Yeah, it's still hood. But they relocated people. Like, yeah, maybe someone else from, like, Higher Court lives in Grafton now, and Grafton lives in West Kenny, but it ain't the same. Like, it ain't, and it just ain't the same, man. I'm telling you.
The hood is gentrified, man. You can get like a vegan organic burger somewhere.
Exactly, bro.
That's the hood.
Have you been to Brooklyn lately? Like, you kidding me? Nah, bro. It's not the same, man. It's not like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Look, we go to Sosai's gym and he got so many amateurs, but I think it's probably only 2 more coming out of there. Shoo going to the Olympics, and then the tall Puerto Rican kid if he makes it, right? If he's still fighting, Alex, remember him?
Yeah.
But where's the new children? Where's the new kids?
I don't know. I know that the amateur boxing program in America is what I think of as like the substitute.
He said Newark's murder rate hasn't changed much since the. Well, I mean, Newark got hella gangs, man. It's tough over there, bro. It's tough over there, man. It is, it is what it is. I would assume that the murder rate changed. I'm going to have to Google that on another day, but I would assume it changed, man. It just ain't the same over there. I mean, they got NJ Pack over there. You got huge artists going to Newark. Keep it real. I've seen like all type of headliners in NJ Pack, man. I don't know. But anyway, what else we got?
Got Thomas Dulorme.
Oh, yeah. Jamal. Damn, we going super slow. We just getting to that? Holy smokes.
Fox Telecast, July 25th. Whoa, Jamal James.
Listen, it is a matchup that was, supposed to happen before C19. Back in April, yes. So they have rescheduled it for July 25th. It'll be a PBC affair on Fox. And yeah, it is going to headline. It will be a 12-round fight for a vacant version of the WBA, surprise, surprise, welterweight title. And Fox is expected to announce that it will be held from a studio setting in the Los Angeles area, though the site has not been hasn't yet been confirmed. So yeah, that's what we got on record. It'll be the first main event since, if you'll remember, Robert Helenius upsetting Adam Kaunaki, a fight that we did live fight or post-fight chat for. And then that seems so long ago now. But what do y'all think? What do y'all think of this main event?
When was the Kaunaki?
That was back in March 7th.
Yep.
Oh, damn, that was right before too.
Yeah.
Yo, PBCs feel like they've been going forever.
Forever.
Yep.
It's crazy. It's so crazy. Then it was, Kaunaki and Helenius. So, it just seems so long ago.
We get a good fight with these two guys. They're gonna be fighting for positioning. So, I think we get a good fight out of this.
Honestly, I want to see Ennis versus one of these guys. Like, Ennis should be fighting one of these guys. I need him to be in a fight already. Like, I don't even like for Dulorme, he gotta feel kind of bad. He went from Broner, Vargas to Jamal James, man. That's and he did good in both Broner and the Vargas, right? Was it Broner that he fought? He had two fights.
Bud, Crawford. I remember.
Bud. Maybe it wasn't Broner then.
Bud. No, I think you're thinking of Bud probably. He fought him right after he had fought Hank Lundy. And, oh, man, I forgot he had fought Kareem Mayfield, too. Yeah, I don't know. At that time.
Yo, before that, and I bet you no one remembers that, but before the Abregu loss, he was like this Puerto Rican welterweight that was supposed to be the next thing. And then he fought Argentine by Gary Shaw Promotions by the name of Juan Carlos Abregu, knocked him out. My man dropped down in weight. He said welterweight was too much for him. Dropped down to 140, had a few fights there, and then he's back at welterweight now. Yeah, no, listen, and I was mad. I was interviewing him. I was mad at him because he's Dominican by blood. Born in the parents... I think he's born in San Martin, both parents Dominican, but raised in Puerto Rico. And he just straight says he's Puerto Rican. I'm like, damn, champ. It's really good.
Right?
It's really good with your parents and them, you know what I'm saying? But, Dulorme, I'm talking about Dulorme.
So, like, for me, like, the name I recognize, obviously, and the guy that I've seen fight multiple times is Dulorme. Jamal James, obviously, I heard the name and everything, but I haven't seen him fight live. I don't even remember seeing like highlights or anything like so. But obviously, it's a name that is being like brought up a lot on your side of the pond. So I really want to know what are his real chances in that fight.
And Dulorme's chances?
Yeah. No, Jamal James.
James. Yeah, I don't think that Jamal can beat Dulorme, man. It might be one of those Ugas, Jesse Vargas type of fights because, they're just tight fights where he doesn't get the win, you know what I mean? But I don't know if Jamal can do it, man. Yo, Ugas looked real good with Terrell Williams. Anyone seen that? The last win he had? Terrell Williams was the dude that, had the unfortunate fight with Prichel Colon.
Yeah, I've seen it. Like, but actually, I was looking at BoxRec before. Like, didn't like Jamal James fought against Ugas and lost? Or?
Yeah. Ugas beat him.
Damn, he beat both of them?
Hey, was it like that?
Nah, man, Jamal James ain't lose to Ugas. He lost to Dulorme.
Oh, it's a Dulorme. Okay, yeah.
No. No. Ugas did not fight. Oh, you're right, yo.
No, Ugas beat Jamal James. Yeah.
Damn, back in 2016.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So, once again, I was just looking, right? Just doing, like, homework, trying to just, like, see. But I couldn't... Like I said, I've never seen him live, right? And I just looked at the opponents, and I saw that loss against Ugas. But, I was wondering if you guys, like, saw the fight, actually, and, like, was it, like, a wash or... what is that kid like?
Yo, I don't remember.
Is it a real deal or not?
I don't remember that fight, man, but I'm pretty sure Ugas beat him easily. The scores are 98, 92, 91, 99. Like, that's very far. But, yo, Ugas starting to build a little resume here, man. Look at all these little names he got. Amir Iman, Jamal, well, he lost to Iman, but Jamal James, Brian Perella, Levan, I can't pronounce his last name, but, you know, that's the Wolf. He was trained by Virgil. Then he got Dulorme, Ray Robinson, Porter, Figueroa, Mike Dallas Jr. Mike Dallas, that was, bro, they brought Mike Dallas back. I bet you he ain't even had a fight before that.
Listen, real quick, back to Jamal James, though. Like, to answer Mitty's question, no, I don't think that he's the real deal right now in the sense that he's – I don't know if he's the best version of what we got. A lot of times, I don't think he uses his natural, abilities, I guess, if that's the way I should put it.
You know who he reminds me of? Paul Williams.
Ooh, good call.
Except he don't throw the amount of punches as Paul. At least Paul went out on his shield throwing punches. But this kid gives up his height and reach, and, you know, he don't capitalize, like you say. He doesn't take advantage of his attributes, and I think that's why Dulorme probably get this win, man. Dulorme was aggressive in that last fight, man, with Williams. It looked good. It looked good to me. But moving on, what else we got?
We
Jaron
have
Boots Ennis.
Yeah,
so
Boots
switching
Ennis.
to Boots Ennis, Jaron Ennis says anything Crawford can do, he can do better. Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. No, you can't. Yes, I can.
Yes, I can.
So, yeah, he says he also believes beating Spence right now is not worth what it used to be. And I quote, I don't feel like anybody would get the credit they deserve if they beat Spence. So what's your thoughts, gentlemen?
Mitty, you there? Give us a little mic check. Yeah, we can hear you. Your video froze, but that's all good. Go ahead. You could take this first.
I mean, like, for me, again, like, it's another kid that I hear a lot about right now from your side, and I'm excited to see in, like, interesting fights. But, that's big talk, man, saying, like, anything you can do, I can do better. Is gonna have to start backing that talk up, and but by the look of things and seeing how people are hyped about the kid, I want to believe that is a real deal, and just because he'll make the division a bit more exciting, right? Seeing like some good prospects out there, but it's easy to talk, and that's what we want him to do at this stage in his career. Just want him to build some more hype, but I don't know if I can believe that just yet because I've only seen highlights of him, and he does look flashy. But he's in there with people that he's supposed to look flashy against. Like it's like Josh Kelly looking flashy at the beginning against guys that he was supposed to look flashy against, right? So once he stepped up the competition and the durability of opponent a little bit, that became a slightly different problem. So I want to see that for Ennis, right? So that would be interesting.
I think that, him coming out and saying this stuff is...
I got to cut you off. Look at what Brandon said. Take full credit for that. They blaming me.
Why you say that?
Look, he said he also said he think he would outthink... he said he also think he would outbox Earl, but Ness, the PBC man fan, forgot. It's like, no, dog, that's Mario's nose. I ain't even put Ennis. I wouldn't even put Ennis in there.
I did put that in there. The Earl part's in there.
Where? Not on here.
Yeah, look, it says Drawn Boots Ennis says anything Crawford can do, he can do better. Also believes beating Spence right now is not worth what it used to be. And the quote is, I don't feel like nobody would get the credit they deserve if they beat Errol Spence.
Yeah, but dog, that doesn't address the fact that he says he thinks he would outbox Errol Spence.
Oh, man. You know what? Go to the one I sent you. I mean, go to the one I sent the pre-pro. It got cut off from there. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I apologize. I was looking at the one that I had, and I'm looking at the one that YouTube has, and they're different. But, yeah, I didn't forget that on purpose. I promise.
No, I'm just saying they always blaming me and think I'm protecting Earl. This weirdo. I'm telling you, these bartenders are weird.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, this is crazy. I think that he has a point though about Spence. It's unfair, and he said it. You know, it's not getting the credit that you should get. You know, obviously we got to see him in a fight, but you know, I think it's kind of disingenuous because if you're a fighter at Boots Ennis's stage, you're saying, "Oh, I wouldn't want Earl because I'm not going to get the credit if I beat him." Like, bro, yes, you get in the credit if you beat him. Is it going to be the same credit that Crawford would get? I don't know. You know, people are going to say, "Oh, well, you know, he wasn't the best version of himself after the crash," you know, yada, yada, yada. But for a Boots Ennis to do it, I don't know. Am I crazy? Like, I think. I guess I see where he comes. I don't know.
No, I think that's a great point, Mario. Like, so it's not everyone that will get the same type of credit, but that guy at this stage of his career, he will definitely get full credit for beating Spence, and that will just be the hype will be kind of justified, right? So I agree with you, Mario. That's a very good point.
Yo, so he's number 26 on BoxRec, right above Josh Kelly.
Is he not number 14, I think, in the WBA?
Do you have the rankings pulled up, my friend?
Well, no, I did it. I thought I nailed it, but, you know, I'm going to throw the boxing voice rankings
in the
up.
WBO, you want to know?
Huh?
You said the WBO, he's number 12.
12, right?
WBO,
Okay.
yes, 12.
So he's there. He's there. He's knocking at the door.
Bro, Dillian Whyte been number 1 for 2 years and mandatory for 1 year. He's not there. If he wants to get there, he needs to get the winner of Jamal James and Thomas Dulorme.
That would definitely put him in a position. I mean, he needs that win. He needs that win where we can get him out there into the people that really don't know too much about boxing, right? Because
definitely,
the hardcores are pretty big on him. You ask any of the champs right now, and they'll tell you good things about him. He's creative, and he's knocked guys out. You know, so
definitely
looking forward.
Yeah, and you know, you think about it too. It's like, you know, what would he benefit from? Beating somebody who's in front of him on the rankings that, you know, one of these guys that doesn't really have the clout, you know, Michael McKinnon, Mikhail Zuski, like, and one of these guys or guys like Thomas Dulorme who've been on ESPN, Fox, you know, Showtime, HBO, you know, and Jamal James has been on pretty big platforms as well. You know, he hasn't been showcased as much as Thomas Dulorme, but those are. You think so?
Nah, hell yeah. Remember when Jamal first came in, I even thought he was going to be something, but then we seen he start fighting with no hype. But yeah, man, remember he headlined like 3 times in his hometown already on television. Him and Caleb Truax, they from the same place.
Yeah, that's a good point. You're right. So you know, that even plays more into my point is that it'd be more important to beat one of those guys, especially coming off of a win against one another, than it would be to, you know, fight somebody that's ahead of them that really doesn't get him very much clout outside of the rankings within that sanctioning body.
Real quick, super chat. Got Jared Lloyd says, these bud tenders know the bum lord's time is ticking. The bum lord is just trying to cash out. That's why he ducks the real fighters like Porter, Brook, Ugas, and Ennis. The pedestrian beaters stay selling dreams to the tenders. Jared Lord.
Yo, but you know what, though? Man, Bud is working, though. Fuck, bro. That dude is working, man. He working, bro. And if you watch, you can't watch, right? Because you got to be like me and stalk everyone that's in the gym with him. Then you would see, but like, bro, he's just walking around, mean mugging, like with the gloves on, like, you know, waiting his turn to hit the pads. Like, he's always focused. This dude, bro, he's got the fro going. Yeah, man, and he's in shape, man, and he sparred Malik Hawkins, bro, and is that Truck? That might have been Truck Simpson. If not, Malik Warren was there. But that means that either Tank is in Omaha or one of those places where Bud be at, or not Tank and Calvin Ford and his other two fighters that I know are Calvin Ford fighters. But that also could mean it wasn't Calvin Ford and maybe Coach Kenny went out there with him. But the point is, those are two Calvin Ford fighters sparring with Bud and with Jamal Herring. Even Jamal Herring, have you seen him?
Cut the hell up,
bro!
They all
bro,
cussed,
you know, under the two last abs, you got like the V.
Yeah, the arrow thing.
Bro, my man's V got veins. He's out of control, bro. He's
That's
ready.
like another level
Now,
of body fat.
But what you mentioned, though, I agree. I do the same thing. I stalk Bud, right? So, you know, the intensity that he has is insane. I really like the,
man.
You know, the intensity that he brings even to his gym work. Even like you just watching like pictures, and you'll think that, you know, I know that he's working seriously. I know that he's just putting the work in, right? So I like that about him. Like, he's a serious dude, man. Even when you meet him in person, I've just like seen him like a few times, like fights, right? So when he wasn't fighting, but he was there in the crowd and everything, and you can tell like he has that kind of intensity, just like eyeing up some other fighters, and you know, he's always serious. No, I do like his attitude, man.
Is it me or is he looking a little bigger nowadays?
He is
big.
looking a little bit bigger. He is
bulking up muscles.
Yo. So I checked one of the I Willing July 2nd, and it was like a picture of them all at the track and shit, bruh. They be working, man. They be working, bro. I'm telling you, I would spar Bud, but I know he wouldn't like. You could tell he don't really like. I mean, I can't say he don't go light.
It doesn't play, man.
No. I'm sure. I'm sure he don't abuse you, but I'm sure he also gonna give you that body shot. Like if he could put you down, like on some competitive shit, he'll put you down. I think. I don't know. I just get that
100%. Yeah,
I get
100%.
that feeling that like
you can see it.
He gonna land that body shot like, and you got to take your knee. You know what I mean? And it's like, damn, bruh. But you could tell he's like focused, man. It looks crazy, bruh. I'm telling you, they was doing pad work with Jamal Herring, and he just pacing, gloves on, back and forth, like waiting for his shot to get on the target miss. You know what I mean? And you could see his face, like, yeah, man. That's I just want him to. I just want to see his work with, like, you know, a nice fight, man. He need to get that right fight, man. I don't even know at this point what it is either, with what's available. And that's what we going back to the same thing, man. Like, we gotta wait for dudes at 40 to become 47 pounders because there's no new talent. Like, Xander Yaez is a 147 pounder, but he's with Top Rank, and he's only like 4-0. He's a kid. They signed him at 16, so they're not rushing him. You know what's Gabriel Flores? He's like 26, right, or 30. You know.
I think
he's 22, maybe at most.
No, I don't think he's 22.
I'm talking pounds. I'm talking pounds.
Yeah, isn't he like 20 or 19?
Yeah, he's young. He's young.
Yeah, he's young, but
he's a 140 pounder.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, they are solid.
Is he 140? That's what No, he's not 140.
Nah.
Who do you see at 140 just moving up?
He's about
just being a danger. Like, I don't know.
Danger? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, we got to see Jose Ramirez versus Josh Teller to see who's the danger. Then we got to see Prograis bounce back.
Hooker? Yeah. Do you think Hooker can do anything with the extra weight?
I heard Hooker is the Prograis fight is off now and he's moving.
Yeah, Hooker is moving up already.
Yo, you know,
he's moving on. He said that
he's training in the same gym though. He's over there with Bud and them. He's training with Bomat.
No, I know that, but yeah, Prograis came out and he said he's gonna move on because Hooker doesn't want the fight. But I would have to say
pure size, right? Do you think like Ramirez is actually a one the size, right? I don't know if Ramirez is a 147 fighter, right?
Got you.
Who knows that?
Who would you say is the biggest threat right now? Then it obviously
that's the thing. I don't see many of them like, and really like the names that we've spoken about, like Regis is interesting, but I don't think Regis is big enough either. But he brings like a style of fighting that could be good. So if he can pack that punching power, that would be interesting. But I just don't think he's big enough.
All those guys need to.
Same thing with Taylor. Like I don't think Taylor. I don't think Taylor can just do that at 147. I think he needs to dominate at 140, be happy there for a while, and see what happens in the next few years. But right now, I don't see it happening there.
I would like any of those guys to have a legitimate welterweight fight before they get a big fight. Like, you hear Bob and he wants to, throw certain guys in. Like he even mentioned Regis. Like I could see a winner of Josh Cella, Ramirez. Obviously they've earned that, by undisputing the same way Crawford did. Whoever the winner of that would be. But like if you're a Regis or a Hooker, they need a real welterweight fight before they get a welterweight name, in my opinion, just so we know what we got, man. Just so we know what we got with them.
And definitely for them also to not just acclimate. I know we use that word a lot, but just for their own confidence. You know what I'm saying? Like people say, oh, I spar with big guys. I spar up my division and I spar up the ladder, and that's all good. But it's still a different thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
We could move on to that was it for the topics. We do have 2 notes to go through that are really quick. Magdaleno versus, was talking a little mess about it. What do y'all think?
I mean, look, I want to say that's bad because everybody's allegedly home, even though I think the bans are being lifted, right? Everybody's allegedly home, so you want to expect that to do better, but bro, for Magdaleno versus Vicente to do more than Jamal Charlo on Showtime, I think Charlo did like 270 something, right? Versus like Hogan or one of them dudes. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not trying to throw shade on Charlo. I'm pretty sure someone got like 270 something. That's good. Just like those, that's nobody. You know what I mean? Magdaleno is like rebuilding. Vicente, who is he? Like, I mean, I could see people look at it as bad because we supposed to be home. I would have loved it to do $1 million, but I don't know that that's bad for dudes that people don't like. Yo, Magdaleno, I know him. I've been knowing him, but
how many else know him? Yeah.
How many people know him?
What would those numbers have been pre C19 with that kind of main event? You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't think no one watches it even pre.
Exactly. I don't think they get to 311. Go ahead, Doomy.
No, I said nah. I'm in agreement with you. Nah, I think these numbers just show what thirst the boxing fans have right now in order to get some boxing, and so these are the numbers that are reflecting that. I mean, I didn't know who the hell Vicente was, and Magdaleno had been on the shelf for what, a year?
Bro.
So,
the undercard too, like, I mean, yeah, it ended up being good to us as boxing fans in retrospect, but like, I don't know, man. I think they did well with that. That was an eye for them.
Not too bad. We'll see what the other fights do. I think ultimately we're gonna get better fights moving forward.
Majid in Florida said UFC has 700,000 with a pay-per-view included.
They have had some really good numbers, and that's what Dana was kind of focused on, was the fact that, they've put together cards, though, that are nothing like we've seen from these Tuesday night cards. So that's another thing that you got to keep in mind, too. But and they've also had pretty good placement. They were on Saturdays and Fridays. They had weekend cards. Yeah, they had one during the week, but most of them have been in really optimal placement. We had one on a Monday at 7:00 Eastern. You know what I'm saying? And we had another one it was a Tuesday, and we had another one on a Thursday. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when we get better placement.
So I missed the Thursday card, but from what I understand and from the articles that I read, right? So the fights were more competitive, but the names were not as big. So what you're saying, like they did worse numbers than the one on the Thursday, and
No, they did
the numbers
worse.
on that
Yes.
great.
Yeah, they did worse than the ones on Tuesday.
Yeah.
The Tuesday ones did better in terms of numbers, and that was Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah, okay.
So you know what I'm saying? Like, but that was rested upon his shoulders completely because he didn't have a B side, and that's what people often forget. They want to talk about how strong is an A side. Is an A side attracting numbers, but even Floyd Mayweather's biggest numbers came when he had the better B side. Cotto, Pacquiao. It's about that other name that you're in there with. So a guy like Shakur can't be expected to draw crazy numbers if he doesn't have a proper dance partner.
What did Shakur do? What was the numbers for Shakur?
They were better. They were better.
700 or something. No,
wow.
No, it wasn't that.
No, I think he picked at like 690 or something.
It was 690. It peaked at, yes, but the average.
So it's close to 700, right?
Yeah. Okay. Sure. I was thinking of average, but yeah, the peak was something like 690.
Yeah. No. And who did he fight?
Some dude that kept coming forward.
Oh yeah, Caballero or something like that. I always say Caballero.
Caraballo.
Something creepy. I went to go type in and find out the ratings. I pushed SH and it popped up Shakur Stevenson's ratings on ESPN for the fight. That was the number one thing. I swear to God. I swear to God.
That's your Google
they're
Home.
listening, bro.
You got Google Home. You got Google Home.
No,
I don't got
it's your cookie. It's your cookies, man. You've probably been there already, man.
They're listening to me, bro.
Right.
They heard the Untitled, and they know that we're fed up.
Bro,
that's it.
So, yeah, man. I mean, I think that's pretty decent for Shakur and for Magdaleno, to be honest with you. Let's get to the next one, though. Golden Boy tweets a video. Let Mario drive the car on this.
Real quick, I'm going to drive the car on this for sure. I just want to make it known. Shakur Stevenson's headline card did 397,000 viewers on average Tuesday night with a peak of 609 100,000. So not bad at all. But let me get into this one. This was taken from a tweet from Golden Boy, and they tweeted out a video of Jorge Linares doing some mitt work, right? It was a video with the caption that said, "At Jorge Linares putting in work for his next opponent." Fire emoji. So was this a message for Ryan Garcia? Could Golden Boy be fed up with their young cash cav? I say yes, because as Doomy pointed out, that combo he was doing was a Ryan Garcia-esque combo. And I think it's a message, like who his next opponent should have been was going to be Ryan Garcia, and they're fed up, bro. They're done with this kid and his prima donna stuff.
Yeah, he did the little flash speed combination that we usually see Ryan Garcia doing. It's like little things like that. Like I could do what you do. You counted me out like I'm an old guy, but I could move just as fast as you. And I think that was a little combination that he threw on purpose. He could have been throwing any combination. He could have posted any combination. But he did the fast speed up the middle, uppercuts, and then, ending with that left hook. I don't know.
How you going to disrespect like that, Doomy, man? This is like a Manny Pacquiao combination, man. How can we just give Ryan Garcia's combinations already? Who is it? That's Manny Pacquiao, man.
Ryan Garcia's right now. They're the
Well, he's right, though. It did look like Ryan. Like, I'm not going to lie. You're right, Mitty. That's a good point. But when Doomy mentioned that in the pre-pro, I didn't even see it. And then I started looking. I'm like, I have seen this kid do that combo on mitts, like, bunch of times. Like that's his go-to combo.
You don't remember the uppercuts from Pacquiao when he was chasing the Floyd?
I do.
The Floyd thing. You want to fight me? Hey, you want to fight me?
Yeah, I think you guys are reading too much into it.
You think so?
Absolutely. First of all, he signed a Golden Boy. They gotta promote him.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's the travel ban that didn't get him to fight. It's not nothing else.
Because he stays in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people didn't know that. A lot of people were like, travel ban, like you can get over from Mexico, blah blah. Like he wasn't in Mexico. He lives in Japan.
Yeah, he's a Japanese dude, man. He's got his wife Japanese. He just like he was settled in Japan for a long time. He had like, I think like years in Japan where he was fighting out of Japan. Actually, his training camp, everything is out there, right? So
it is. Yep.
Does he speak Japanese? I think.
Yeah, he does. Fluent.
Yeah, I've heard him speak Japanese before.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy.
It was like fighting out of like the famous gym out there, Taken gym, like, you know. So, yeah, man. I don't know why. It's interesting, right? So why he chose to put that.
Who were the bantamweights that fought? I covered one time. It was the brother from UK. One of the brothers.
Like McDonald.
Yes, it was like, McDonald when he fought the Japanese.
It must have been Inoue. Like he just got like.
No, it wasn't Inoue.
Was it Tanaka?
Yes, that's who it was.
Yeah. And he got blasted.
That was such a. I covered that fight. It was in Corpus. I got to cover it, and Linares was there. I heard him do an interview with one of them, and I was like, "Whoa, this dude is like going off."
Yeah, man.
But those are the news and notes. We can definitely go. I want to just let everybody know, if you are watching right now on YouTube live, please hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button, smash it. It gives us more visibility and allows us to come back and do these shows week in and week out, day in and day out. And if you haven't gone to check out what we got going on Patreon, go to Patreon.com/The Boxing Voice, where we provide you with shows daily. We got Untitled on Mondays. We do a fight film study on Tuesdays, where we go and get fights that you vote for and you put up for vote. We watch them all together, score them live, bring you on, talk about your cards, talk about our cards. And then we are introducing a new show, Prospect Wednesdays, on Wednesdays. And then, of course, we are there daily on YouTube, but we have Overtime, which is the show that we do after our morning shows here on YouTube, and we chop up different stuff. Sometimes it's boxing, sometimes it's just random topics, and a lot of times the conversation spills over from the morning to Untitled. So you definitely want to rock out with us, definitely want to check it out. Go over to patreon.com/The Boxing Voice and learn more about it. I think we could
go. Breaking news.
That line.
No wonder Bud is heavy. He ain't fighting this year. He ain't taking no pay cut.
What you mean?
He ain't fighting this year. It's gonna break.
Oh, you got it early? The rest of us gotta wait for the news to hit the regular folks. Right?
No.
Oh man, he gave us the exclusive.
He's on a text message.
Yo, I know. He's probably trying to get somebody on the line.
That makes sense though. That makes sense. Like some of those big guys we know, right? They're not taking those pay cuts. But then someone like Bud, he decided, he doesn't want to have like another fight with like a name that is not relevant, because he's getting enough like nonsense about like who he's fighting. So, I get him, and I think I'll be on the same boat as him. If I don't need to have one of those fights, why would I do it?
Exactly.
So people can just add to the fire and say, oh, who is he fighting? Blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, man.
Especially if you can let other people be the guinea pigs, right? Because all we've heard are managers, and promoters come out and say, well, there's not going to be enough money. Well, I hope, everybody's going to have to understand that money is going to be different, post C19. And it's like, how do we know? Like, don't get me wrong, it makes sense, and I believe them when they say it, but if that was my money you're talking about, I want to be sure. Like, let some of these other guys go and see what kind of money they're getting and see what kind of money's being made, and then I'll have better understanding of what I'm really worth. Because right now you're telling me I got to take short money because of the times that we're in. Okay, but if I don't have to take short money, would you tell me? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely am not going to rush Bud back if he doesn't have to, because nobody that risks their life in this sport should have to take anything they don't want to take. That said, after some time has went by and we see what the numbers are starting to look like, then we'll have a better understanding, and then we can hold fighters' feet to the fire a little better. But for now, it's just too soon to tell.
I think he got an opponent too, unless I'm being, bamboozled. He got an opponent. It's supposed to drop.
Oh, sounds like a morning show.
Yeah, I mean,
or
Brian Custer,
maybe...
Last Stand Podcast. Brian Custer said it's gonna drop soon. He just texted me and told me that.
Let's
and
go.
he about to get Charlemagne. It looked like I told him he gets Charlemagne. He gotta hook me out. I want to get Charlemagne. That being said, are we moving on to the callers? The number to call in 1425-569-5241. Press 1 time. Voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the People hotline. Actually, just got to hit us up on Skype. We ain't even using Blog Talk today because of the lack of internet here in this area. We've had an outage. As you can hear, we continue to pause, unfortunately. But for anybody that's just listening, let me know in the chat that you're just listening before I go to you so we can get to those that are ready. And, yeah, man, let me go out to sponsors real quick. Any final thoughts, you guys?
No, I'll just say that as far as that last commentary, I think I could be looking into it too much with Golden Boy. I was just being facetious. But, yeah, obviously we got to wait and see how that plays out, but definitely excited if they could still try to get Linares Garcia. I like that fight.
Yeah, I mean, no final thoughts for me, man. I'm on to the colors. That's the most exciting part for me. It's the voice of the people.
Well said.
I went back and watched the Linares. He did do the Ryan Garcia combination.
Yeah, I just felt like it was just something subliminal, nothing really crazy to take from it, but it was definitely a subliminal message. I can't 100% guarantee it, but it's like, come on.
Yeah.
And he was throwing them pretty fast. And as far as us supporting our American fighters, man, we should. That's something that we've always talked about here. It's something that's kind of needed in our country and for the sport here in America, for us to be able to stand behind our champs. And even if they take a L, man, to not be so critical to them. Yeah, we do like winners. That's a big deal over here. We like to win. And sometimes we can be hard on the football teams, on the baseball teams. I mean, it's just it's a hard. I mean, and look, and that's not to say that the UK fans don't take losing hard too. Pretty sure Mitty could tell me about the soccer games he's been to, and those get pretty wild. So, let's just try to support our hometown guy a lot more. The rest of the countries do it. Why not us?
Yeah. Oh, show.
All right, let me go out to the callers.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
Stone Bone, talk to me.
What up? Hey, I would believe Fury, man. I believe him. He'll drop the belt, man. He seemed like the type of dude that he'll do it. You know what I mean? He done kooky stuff before. He left the sport for 3 years. I mean, he wasn't suspended that whole time. If he would have just faced it, just like everybody else, he probably would have did a 6-month suspension and been right back fighting. But he was gone for 3 years because that's just how he is. I can see. And Dillian Whyte, you failed the test. Your mandatory spot could have been sealed with a clean win over Oscar Rivas. But no, you want to fail a test. You want to have glove issues. Then you want to look trashy against Whyte. Mauricio Suleiman said it on the show. Right here. Matter of fact, Ness, since Dillian Whyte seems to have so much confusion with what Mauricio says, how about he sign up for Patreon and he can ask a question to Mauricio, because clearly he ain't getting answers that he need, he can sign up to Patreon and he can ask Mauricio a question himself instead of letting Eddie lie to him about what Mauricio said. Come on and sign up for Patreon, Dylan. We accept the new guys and especially UK guys. And Earl is right. We need to support the black fighters. We need to, man, forget all this American fighter and all that. He talking about the black fighters. Caleb Plant is, yes, an American fighter. I'm going to support him too. But the premise of his statement is about us supporting the black fighters. We throw them away unless they clown for us like Bronner. Then we stick around just for the God in them. We don't stick around really as support. We stick around for kind of the circus show or the circus act. And Thomas Dulorme and Jamal James, where are they going to do it at? In Minnesota again? Or, I mean, he fighting up there. That's good. He getting a little base up there. Maybe Marlon can get on that card. Thomas Dulorme, blood broke his jaw in Texas. I was there. Sounded like a gunshot when he hit him. And everybody was like, even the Hispanic, Latino fans was like, wow. It was so loud in the stadium, his jaw was broke. And he was done after that. I think that was like a 6-round knockout. So he done got the Vargas fight. If he can get a regular title, that's a major comeback. And Boost Ennis, me and Stanless went on for hours trying to find him a real fight. We even put Evanesians, the Josh Kellys. We figured out, we put Custio Clayton. We put all these ways to get him in the top 5, and he ain't saying none of that. He keep mentioning these guys. So he need to at least fight a top. Like, we looked at his record, the best guy he fought was like ranked 87. The rest of them was in the high hundreds. Not even the top 15 guy in anywhere in sight. So he need to focus on that. And shout out to Shakur, man, for getting $1 per view. That's what, man, listen, he finna get his $1 million real quick. We better get behind the young star. He did that on his own. Wasn't no name on that card. He wasn't fighting nobody. That was him coming off coach.
Cut it.
Yo, good call. Good call. Real quick, too, I want to say Andre Ward had mentioned that the other day that I wanted to do a show on that. The headline where he had talked about, because you want to talk about supporting black fighters, like Andre Ward is a guy who didn't get the support he deserved. And, in it, he had said like, when it comes to a guy being more reserved as opposed to, outspoken, they're not supported. And you're absolutely right. Andre Ward deserved way more support than he got.
All right, we're going out to Steve. Oh, that's not. Yeah, Steve in Chicago. Talk to me.
Hello?
What up, Steve?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Yeah, here, I want to talk about what Spence, I think Spence kind of misread what happened with that Fury Wilder thing. I think a lot of, we got to give it to the UK. They are fanatical with their sports. So I think in that particular fight, a lot of them people traveled over here. I think Wilder does get support here. He might have not seen it in the stadium, but he is supported. But I want to talk about Mitty made an interesting comment. He said he supports fighters with a certain skill. He said he looks at the skill. Obviously you support, something that you want to watch. And see, that's what I do. And I'm going to be honest with you, I try to talk to these UK fans, and they don't like the fact that I look at the skill level. And in the UK, they just don't have who's all the champs, man? You painted a wrong picture. I think guys are getting trained here. And look at all these Europeans, especially like from Russia and these Uzbeks and that and Triple G. Where'd they come to train? They came here. If the UK was so great, how come they didn't go over there? If the UK had all these great trainers, how come they're not training in the UK? They come here, brother. Even all Latin America, all the elite fighters, they come here when they train. So don't paint this picture that, the U.S. don't have these gyms and this and that. Maybe around by you, but I can tell you that, here's the thing. The team sports are institutionalized here in America with the schools. And when it comes to combat sports, there are more MMA shows and gyms out there. But if we talk specifically boxing and we talk about the UK, there's no skill. I watched their fight. I've been watching their fights for 3 years. I don't see the skill level over there. I see it here, and these guys chastise me for supporting the American fighter. I only do it because I don't see any skill level over there. And even Fury, where did he come to train? This last Wilder fight, he came here. Even AJ, the first when he fought Ruiz, he went down to Miami and he pulled in American fighters to spar with them. So let's cut the bullshit. The skill's here. We run this shit. I'm out.
Yo, why you always upset, man? Why you always thinking I'm coming at you, man? I wasn't talking about like coaching at the pro level. My observation was just like gyms publicly or generally available to the public and for young children also, like, and don't get me wrong, like maybe I'm wrong because I don't know like the whole like the whole of the US, right? But when I do come to the East Coast and to the New York area, whereby like close to where Ennis lives, trust me, we have to travel a long way before we can find a gym to get some work done, right? So that's all I was saying. But hey, stand by your opinion and just keep defending, what you believe in. That's good, man. I love your calls, man.
We're going to New Jersey. What?
Just like the king is what I mean. The king is what I mean.
Yo, what's good, fellas?
What up?
Yo, the Dulorme fight, Jamal James. I don't know who that fight does anything for, but y'all see, I mentioned the PBC jumps back in the mix. I hope they loading us up with something. As far as Tyson Fury vacating the title, I mean, listen, Mario said something that's interesting, and I don't usually agree, but I think it sounds crazy, but we don't know what a post-COVID boxing scene is going to look like. So I'm not saying that anything is possible, but I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to, because there's not enough money to go around. So really, you got to figure out who's the money going to go to. No, everybody can't get the money. There's not enough money for a mandatory. There's not enough money for the main. But everybody's not going to get a piece of the pie. So I don't know where Dillian Whyte going to fall on that. But it's really but they need a fourth guy to dance with. And if it's not Ruiz, why not? It's going to be Whyte. And that's, I heard you mention it, Ruiz. Ruiz say even with the win over AJ, his most exciting notoriety is his fat camp and who's going to train him. That's not interesting enough. Dillian Whyte, with all the failed PEDs and bullshit he got going with him, he's just still in the mix. So they need a fourth dance partner. Luis Ortiz is not that fourth. Every good division, when they going at it to decide who's the best, you need four. So, he's like the automatic fourth guy. So, it's just got to shake out some kind of way. Yo, Ness, I just want to ask you right quick. Doomy might know. Yo, remember, I don't know if y'all remember back then, but 666 Demons on 4th Ave?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On some, used to rumble, you know what I'm saying? Little street gangs. But you came up, you fought. Somebody maybe might have got poked, but you lived to fight another day, man. Yeah. That's my call.
Yo, that's so funny, bro. That was around my area. That's right there, 6th Street, 4-5. I was on 12th and 4-5. I knew a lot of them dudes, man. It was funny.
They had like fight clubs?
Nah, man, not no fight clubs. Just little dumbass 20, 30-year-old back 20, 30-year-old gangs back then, man. Little cliques, you know what I'm saying? It was funny. Let me see. J Matt, New Orleans.
You know how these bitches is in the sport. Total disrespect. Kid has no class, no style. I'm a gorilla, I'm a dog. I'm a dog, I'm a gorilla.
The smartest thing you can do is to
It can't be the boogeyman if I'm chasing.
You want to bet? You bet 100,000 on that.
Let's bet $1 million.
Easy.
Let's bet $1 million.
J-Mac. J-Mac.
J-Mac.
Yeah, let me double check, make sure he didn't send me a message. I mean, I don't see nothing that says he's just listening, but all right then. J-Mac, last time we're going to go to you. If not, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Oh, there he goes. You there? You just muted yourself again, buddy. Well, all right. All right. Oh, Stu says Skype is acting up. I don't know. Did I freeze? You guys are good, right? I didn't freeze, right?
No, I hear you perfect.
Yeah, I don't know. J-Mac,
I
do you
hear
hear me?
you.
J-Mac, do you hear me? No?
Man, the video
Stone
on
Bone.
YouTube
Let me double
is
check.
so bad.
Stone Bone.
It's freezing, right, on YouTube.
It
Yeah,
hasn't
Stone
froze
Bone
for
hears
me
I
as
see. All right, thank you, Stone Bone. I see you unmuted, so he hears me. I don't know, but anyway, man, look, it's been bad internet. Like I sent the guys a picture, screenshot of my thing. Yeah, man, there's another outage around here. I don't know. It's like a reoccurring thing here, but looks like we got Brandon just jumped on. Brandon, talk to me. Brandon, talk to me. Brandon, going once.
I think Skype is you kind of choppy on Skype, Ness. I can barely hear you, so I think it's something going on with it. You might want to check it.
We hear you perfectly.
Yeah, you sound good.
Oh, okay, well, yeah, y'all coming in choppy for us, but as far as what Errol said about the Wilder situation, yeah, I agree with him. I think we should get behind our American fighters. You know, Fury, you know, they gonna come out in droves for him, so you know, we need to start backing our guys a little more. But you know, boxing has to do things to make it easier for us. For one, you know, a lot of Wilder's fans are from an urban area. We can't afford that shit. When they had them fights in Vegas, we can't afford to go to them fucking fights. Tickets be $1,000 and shit, then hotels, and they don't make it easier. They don't make it easier for Wilder fan base to come out and support it. And shit, I don't know what the UK do for a living, but they able to spend all that money to fly over here and get tickets. So hats off to them. You know, they are a bit bigger boxing fans than US fans. You know, they are more passionate about the sport. It's bigger over there. I mean, we could say football. We got, you know, US got football, basketball, baseball. We've been having that shit. And that ain't stopped Mike Tyson from being a star, and Ray Leonard and Floyd and Oscar. You know, Mike Tyson was competing with Michael Jordan in the 90s, man. Ain't nobody today in sports big as Michael Jordan was in the 90s, and that ain't stopped, you know, Iron Mike from being, you know, a probably top 3 household name. So that's just kind of excuse. I think what killed boxing in America is all the politics. We rarely get number 1 versus number 2. It's just those are the stuff that's killing boxing in America. The fact we don't get the best fighting the best enough. As far as Boots, I mean, Boots, can you fight an Eric Bonet? Can you fight a, you know, Michael Fox? Somebody in the top 50 before you start calling out guys like Errol and Bud. I mean, he ain't fought guys with a pulse yet. And he talking like, a lot of guys look good when they fighting these type of opponents, man. And then when they step it up, you know, they get destroyed. I mean, Zab Judah was a guy like that. You know, when Zab Judah was fighting those type of guys, he was looking invincible. Fast hands, power, and then he stepped it up and never was the same. So as far as Boots, you know, get a fight against a guy in the top 50. Then we can start taking you serious, you know. trying to see what else y'all talk about. Yeah, Thomas Dulorme and Jamal James. That's a good fight I want to see. I'm going to roll with Jamal James in that one. But other than that, yeah, that's about it. Tyson Fury dropping the WBC belt. I can see that happening. Him taking the franchise, and if Wilder was to lose to him, maybe make him a Dillian Whyte with a vacated regular belt, or hell, give Oscar Rivas a rematch with a vacant belt against Dillian Whyte. Either one is good with me. But like I said, something going on with y'all Skype. Y'all sound choppy for us, but y'all have a go.
Yo, that was a good call from Brandon, man. I like, the different perspective that you're bringing, and it's interesting. I do agree with you, right? Obviously, I don't know the US as well as most of you guys do, but it could be a boxing thing, but also at the same time, I think people have to do a little bit more, and it's not that people get more money in the UK or anything. I think it's comparable. Like, those are blue collar people that are supporting sports, right? And the same guy who supports a boxer and buys pay-per-view or buys a ticket for boxing is the same guy that also buys his ticket for his football club and all that. So they kind of spend for different sport at once also. It's not just like you're a football fan, then you're a boxing fan. They just multi-sport that makes you spend and spend and spend and keep spending, right? So I think, I feel you, Brandon. People have to do more to support the sport.
Jerome, on you. All right. And J-Mac on the last try. There he goes. What up? Oh, guess not. All right, then. So we are done. What? Yeah. All right, so catch us on the... Are you there? No, he's on mute. All right, damn. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. All right. We're out, man. Wait, now he's unmuted. Yo, please text, man. Someone tell me what... Yo, you there?
He said that we choppy.
Yo, can y'all hear me?
We hear you perfectly.
Yeah, we hear you now.
And look, y'all sound bad. Y'all sound choppy. So I was going in and out when you said I couldn't hear you that clear and stuff like that. So I'm assuming I could be heard clearly on y'all end, but we can't hear y'all. Y'all sound like a bad record. Topic of the show, I think we definitely should support our American race. Fighters and what have you. I don't care what the race of the fighter is. If he sells. I do think Americans should come together, especially in this time, to just push all our fighters going forward. Hold on. To push all our fighters going forward. And just, get some unity stuff. For us, Tyson Fury, he's very capable of dropping the belt and not fighting Whyte. He does what he wants to. He don't care, man. The dude move on his own time. He retire when he want to. He get on the drugs when he want to. He just beat the baddest man in boxing. He could retire from the sport. And Tyson Fury be just comfortable with what he accomplished. I heard someone talk about Shakur Stevenson. I hope he get everything he's supposed to get out of sport. I really do believe in the dude. I think he's a young, talented fighter. I think he got a great team around him. He's got some great experience being trained, sparring in camps with one of the best fighters of this generation, and have you not. So I definitely want dude to go forward. I hope he can accomplish whatever he's supposed to get out of sport. And if it's $1 per pay-per-view, I wish he'd get more in the long run. That's anything else?
That's it.
Thank you,
Jerome is on you.
Yo.
What up?
Yo.
We hear you.
We hear you.
That sound like y'all got a cricket. I can't hear y'all. Yo.
Yeah, you're there. Go ahead.
I can't. Y'all breaking up. I can't. Nah, I'll just catch y'all next time. I can't hear you at all.
Damn.
We hear you perfectly, champion. He hung up. All right. Well, I mean, obviously, it is, one of those bad internet days. So, we will pick up tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Catch us on the next one. Nest GTO, Instagram, and Twitter. Want to thank everybody for tuning in. Don't forget, hit the thumbs up button. Future, present, past helps with the visibility of the show, helps us grow. And once again, thank you to Coach Mitty all the way in the UK, staying up late. Catch us 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. West Coast, 7 a.m. Central. Peace.
At Martin McGee on Twitter, at Martin McGee on Instagram. Shout out to Doomy, who had to burn off early today. Shout out to Ness, and shout out to Coach Mitty. And if you like Coach Mitty here, which I know you do because he's just a great boxing mind, and he makes the show better, let us know. Definitely let us know, support the show, and let us know that you like Mitty where he's at, and I'm sure he'll come back. Right, Mitty?
Yeah, man. I like being on here, so, that was me. Catch you when I see you next time.
Awesome, man. Untitled tomorrow night, too. Don't forget.
Yes, the post is out on Patreon, so you can put your topic for Untitled. Also, you can also put your suggestion for Film Study Tuesday. And you could have put your suggestion for today's show. We actually took about 2 or 3 of those out of there, right?
Yeah, we sure did. We took a few out of there. And just a little taste of what we're going to be doing on Untitled on Monday. We are going to be talking about the news. We were going to put it on today, but the pre-pro decided we should save it for Untitled, about the USA fighter, Houston Olympic boxer Ginny Fuchs. I think it's Fuchs. She is a female Olympic fighter who tested positive for a banned substance, PED, and she got it by ingesting it through unprotected oral sex. And so they have given her a without fault designation or negligence, so she will not face any ineligibility prohibitants from the boxing, so she'll be able to compete basically. But she did ingest it through unprotected sex. Like I said, it's a Untitled discussion, so if you want to hear us chop that up, definitely hit us up on Untitled for Monday, going to patreon.com/The Boxing Voice, and we will be talking about that plus much more on Monday. Peace.
Yeah, don't miss that one. Fire.
Definitely.
Last minute super chat from DBX in the UK that says, salute as always, gonna listen back now. Well, thank you, champ, and everyone have a good night or morning in the UK.
Peace.
Later.